pursue every avenue.
Yeah.
That's what King Solomon did, and he died happy. If I'm to understand the Bible correctly.
Yeah, he fucked a bunch of women and stuff. He chopped that baby in half.
He learned everything, and then the moral of the story was that pursuing every indulgence will always bring you happiness.
Damn, that's crazy because that's how I live my life, and I'm very depressed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got to believe in God also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's really what the Old Testament teaches us, is that if we believe in God and also act only in our own interests at all times, you will live a happy life.
Nice.
Which, now that I think about it, I started saying as a joke, but it's also true.
Sounds pretty true, actually.
Yeah, that's what being a Mormon
What happened to
is.
Solomon?
Huh?
What did actually
Oh,
happen?
I don't fucking
I thought
know.
he did end up just living a good-ass life.
Yeah, but isn't what is it like his reflections in Ecclesiastes about, how you can't, I don't know. I started making the point and I barely remember
but even
what the
if
fuck
he did,
it was.
let's say when he's old as shit and he feels bad, he was still having a great time. Dude.
Sure. You know what? And that is true. I spent all my time fucking miserable. Like, I hated that trip we were on. But then a couple weeks go by and you're like, God, my life fucking sucks. I wish I was still in Japan.
Yeah.
Because it's like you'll never feel good about anything. But you will have enough distance that you can't remember how bad you felt.
I think you can feel good about some things, man.
No. No, it's not possible.
I think we're both pretty depressed. I went to therapy yesterday and I was arguing that I wasn't depressed. And then my therapist was like, wait, you're wearing the exact same sweats you were wearing last week.
Yeah.
I had just been wearing them a week straight. I'm wearing them right now. I'm wearing the sweatsuit right now.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, you got me there, bro. Maybe I am depressed.
Yeah. Shout out to Stav's therapist.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
All right, well, I guess it's time to wrap this up here.
Wrap it up like my cock.
Wrap it up. Don't ever use condoms.
Don't use condoms.
Oh, also, you know what? I said that I haven't been, but Red Dead Redemption is fucking great, dude.
I gotta get it.
It's so good. It's so goddamn good. I haven't played like none of the story. I'm like literally just going around fucking hunting. I found the trapper right away, and then it's just like collecting as many pelts and
beautiful
and looking at birds through binoculars and studying them, collecting all the flowers. I love that shit.
You could just do that kind of shit here, man.
No, you can't do that shit in New York.
Why
You
not?
really fucking can't. You have to make tens of millions of dollars and then move to the fucking mountains.
You could go to the upstate for a sec.
Not for a sec. I need to be.
You need to live there.
Needs to be. Look, I'm like a checkout kind of guy. I live
Okay.
in extremes. I can't sample things.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yes,
You don't do a little bit. You go all the way.
of course.
So I'm gonna lose all my money in cryptocurrencies.
Yes, sure.
And another guy I talked to about investments, who I told him to get in on Basic Attention Token a couple weeks ago and then get out right before that Coinbase listing. So he did make a little bit of money.
Okay.
But he just texted me, "What is going on?"
Honestly, anyone that listens to you for financial advice deserves it.
And look, I've made good calls. Anything I've done like dumb shit on my own, but anything I've recommended on the show. Look, I have a fiduciary responsibility to the listeners.
You're not
of
only
the
our
show.
listeners by pledging $5 a month. You're actually shareholders.
Yeah.
And we have a fiduciary responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I give locks of the motherfucking century during our fucking Bet DSI
Dude,
picks.
I've made every single call I've made on crypto on the show has been fucking rock solid.
Okay.
Every single one.
Every single one.
Every single one. I've
There's
never
some
been
rich
wrong
people
on the
out
show.
here because of you, man.
Yeah, I made some guy I met him. He emailed me. He just wanted to say, "Hey, thanks. I was working at Burger King, and then last year I made a couple of plays on the Smart Money decisions in your Smart Money corner."
yeah. Mullins Money.
The
Mullins
Smart
Money Corner.
I listened to your Smart Money podcast, Come Town. Jim Cramer recommends Smart Money podcast, Come Town. And my net worth is now $800 million.
Wow.
And he's still working at Best Buy because you don't want to. But he's still working. He works at. His name. Look, this young man. His name's Carlos. He works at Best Buy. Maybe some of you know him.
Yep.
He's like, "Hey, my name's Carlos. I'm Carlos. I love Best Buy. I love going to Best Buy, but I also love working at it. And that's one of the two things in my life that I enjoy is driving my '98 Honda Civic to Best Buy, where I can make purchases of all the new electronics with features." And that's the thing that you don't even really realize is like how many features some of the electronics have until you actually really understand it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I love Best Buy and I love purchases.
Love that shit.
BestBuy.com. purchases.
$800 million from Nick's smart money decisions.
That guy made a lot of money off me. So now I'm investing in Red Dead Redemption and eating fucking premium saltine crackers.
That's right.
Just praying for death. Just begging somebody to walk up and put a fucking gun to the back of my head and just end it.
Brow. Can I take out a life insurance policy on you?
Yes, we already went into that.
Okay.
Everyone can take a life insurance policy out on anyone.
All right. Well, since we're, business partners, associates,
Yeah.
I feel like I get a pretty nice rate.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
but
start.
Look,
maybe I'll start.
If you think Adam doesn't already have life insurance policies on both of us, there's no way in the world he doesn't have.
Adam keeps trying to get you to do cocaine. He keeps feeding me burgers and shit.
What would he do if we both died?
I don't know.
What would his life be?
That's a tough one. We have to keep going for Adam. We have to keep chugging along before Adam fucking has to go back.
Like, what would he do? Yeah, what would he do?
I don't know. Maybe become a lawyer finally?
Maybe.
Maybe go back to being a lawyer.
I guess Dasha would have to get a job.
Yep. Yeah, Dasha. He would become the third Mike on Red Scare.
Yeah. That's not true. Adam, shut up. Fine.
Okay. The levels are good. He's just a
Always
producer.
do this. Yeah.
Well, folks, I do want to live for at least a couple more weeks. If you're in Long Island on the 30th this month, 11:30, I'm at some fucking place on Long Island. I should have known this, but please buy tickets. Atrium of a movie theater.
The atrium of a movie theater.
I'll be there, and then
Live, one night only, at some movie theater in Long Island, New York.
Yep. And then the weekend after that, I am in D.C. This is a big one. Like I said, the 7th and the 8th. Please buy tickets to that motherfucker.
At a different movie theater.
It is not at a movie theater. It's the D.C. Draft House.
Which is a movie theater.
The Arlington Draft House is a movie theater. The D.C. Draft House is a comedy venue.
Make sure you buy tickets to the Arlington Draft
the
House.
D.C. Draft House.
Go to arlingtondrafthouse.com.
Go to DCDrafthouse.com.
Looking for Stavros, and then email Adam saying the show was canceled.
And then the weekend after that, if you're in Indianapolis on the 13th, I'll be there.
No Indians allowed.
You can come if
Do
you're
not
Indian.
let the name fool you.
Cincinnati.
No
on the
Indians
14th.
in Indianapolis.
I'll be on the 14th, Cincinnati, 15th in Columbus, and I might add Cleveland on the 16th. I don't know yet.
0 Chinese people will be admitted to the theater.
Any Chinese are all allowed. Welcome. And then we've got a couple things cooking for Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Phoenix. Can't announce yet, but keep an eye out. And then, like I said, the other big one, L.A., February 2nd. Please buy tickets to that motherfucker early so I can add extra shows. I'm trying to go hang out in L.A. for a little bit. And then I'm also going to be in San Diego the Sunday before that on the 27th. So that's it, boys and gals. Please fucking buy tickets to all those. I'm coming. I'm sucking you off across this fine nation. And I'm trying to add a couple more dates, so look out for those. Please come give me a little smoochy poo and buy tickets and suck me off. Oh, no. Nick's dead.
Oh. Adam, what are you going to do? It's going to be great when I'm dead and my memory just haunts him for the rest of his life.
That would be wild.
All these things that I said on the show, him having to answer for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I can get out of it.
Yeah.
I'll smile my way out of it.
No, you'll be fine. You'll do stand-up and stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Adam will be the fucking...
You know what's funny, too, is these markets will bounce back and I'll be like, I feel really good. I don't know what it is. Something about having more money.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you've totally 100% just poured all of your hopes and desires into this crypto shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I respect it.
Mhm.
Usually it's drugs.
Oh, that's happening, too, baby.
Nice.
Yeah. If you want to mail me, wink, wink.
Don't finish that sentence.
Your Honor, I said wink, wink. That means don't do it. I explicitly said mail me narcotics and then said wink, wink, which means don't mail me narcotics. I think that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Son,
Yes, sir.
you are off. I'll drop all the charges. The prosecutor's like, the charges were murder one. He killed his business partner.
Because he had a paranoid fantasy about him taking out a life insurance policy on him. Fuck. All right, folks. That'll do it for us. We're coming at you soon. Also, a Funny Moms in 2 weeks. So
Coming at you live. Coming at you jive, ass.
This was Wednesday. We did record this today, so if you want, you'll feel closer to us, knowing just hours before you listen to this, we recorded it. Goodbye, everyone. Mwah.
Athlete and Westside on XFM 104.9. Sunny day, 2007.
It's going so well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Going so well. But
Ricky
then,
Gervais.
once again, the English language tripped you up.
The mouth with the tongue lips was all over the brain and talk. The brain and talk through the throat. Oh dear.
Oh, language is his tool. So, Rick, I think we should do some introductions, because I think it seems to me every week everyone knows who you are, because you're, the face of the moment, but they forget who, me and the K-Man are.
Well, with me, Steve Merchant.
Hi.
And the K-Man, who's our producer and friend. And can I just say that I really look forward to this show. Like, I get, oh great, we're going to do a show and we're going to play some tracks we like and have a laugh. But now I'm looking forward to meeting Carl.
Of course.
Honestly, I come in and I see his face and then I go, all right. And I'm, just great, like just a little friend. Do you know what I mean? You know when a kid comes on to play with a friend, you go, oh, and they're going to come out to play, and it's like little friends. It's like that with Carl.
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't see him in the week, you see. We deliberately stay away from him in the week so that he'll be fresh to us.
Yeah, go on.
You start off friendly, like you did today, and then as soon as Steve turns up, you start getting nasty and saying things about my little bald head.
No, I said, look, okay, right, listen, let me explain. Carl was making the tea, and you know those bins, the sort of like a round sort of Metal Mickey type bin that you can take off the thing? I went, oh, that would make a good little helmet. It would make it look like Metal Mickey because it's the same shape as his head.
Sure.
Right? And I put it on, and
So far, so good, Rick. No problem there. That's just two mates having a laugh.
Right.
You're putting a bin on another man's head.
Right, it's right. So I put it on, and the swing bit, through gravity and the angle, swung and hit him in the nose.
Sure.
Right? He went, ow. And I went, I said something like, it's all right.
Yeah, of course, because you were being amused.
Yeah, I said, it's all right, don't worry.
Yeah.
And he went, no, I've just washed my hair.
Yeah.
That annoyed me.
That did annoy you, sure.
Because there was lots of, like, shit and coffee and horrible gunk.
In his hair, or?
No, in the inside of the bin.
Sure.
But what annoyed me was, he's hardly got any hair.
Let's be honest, he looks like Moby.
Yeah, so I said, I took the bin off.
Yeah.
And I was having a laugh, and I thought, You
ruined my fun, is what
do
you
know what
thought.
I mean? I said, what's your hair? I said, we could do that now in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like I was in the wrong.
I know. Rick,
that-
that annoys me about
I
him.
know.
That does annoy me
Yeah.
about him. But otherwise, he's like childlike.
Yeah,
in so
he's
many other
great.
ways. He doesn't understand that he's hurting your emotions and your
Yeah,
feelings. Rick.
but also, right, we were playing football, so I can't play football, right? And so we were playing
Was that
football.
just in the office, or?
Yeah, just in the
Right,
office
yeah.
before you came, right? And we were sort of kicking it back and forth, and I started kicking it a bit hard. And but he was quite good. I said, and we finished anyway because we thought we'd break some. And I went, I bet you were quite good at football, weren't you? And I actually thought he looked like quite a natural. I thought he'd be good. He's from the north, and I thought that's all he'd have.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Right? And he went, I said, I suppose you're quite good at football. And he turned, the quick as flash, I went, I've scored once. Right? He said, and that's because I was being chased by a bee. And I went, save it.
Yeah.
He went, no, I said, please save it. Because I want to tell Steve that. No, you can continue now.
Please tell us the rest of the story. You've scored a goal once
Well, you
because
sort
you're
of-
being chased by a bee.
Yeah, you've done it now, really. I was on the.
There must be more to that story, man.
I was in the school team. I wasn't that good as a kid at football, to
Right.
be honest. Mainly down to, I think it's because my dad wasn't into football.
Right.
And I think that's the way it works, isn't it? If your dad's into it, then you could be a footballer when you're older.
Sure.
Yep.
Because you're into it. And so I was in the school team because I got on with the other lads.
Uh-huh.
And they let me in the team.
Popular guy, yeah.
Sure.
And yeah, I was stood there doing nothing because I didn't really know what to do. I never knew which way I was meant to be shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got all that messed up.
Yeah, that is a
I
problem.
just stood there, right, and with my hands behind my back, and something landed on me on like this part of my thumb.
You can't just point, it's radio.
It's this bit here,
Right, yeah.
The
base of
fleshy
your thumb,
bit, the
yeah.
fleshy bit of the
Flashing
thumb,
my
yeah.
and I thought, oh, what's that? And I looked down, and
It
it
was
was
a
a bee.
thumb. Oh, it was a bee, yeah.
It was a bee on me. So I start running,
Yeah.
try to get away from it, and bees. Actually, something interesting about bees: more chance of getting stung by a bee in windy weather than any other sort of weather.
That's incredible.
Anyway, so I'm running away.
And he said there was no more.
Extraordinary. I've already learned many, many things. You're being chased by the bee. It's
So
windy.
I'm running. and
It's
I
on your
got-
thumb, is it still on your thumb now?
It's sort of gripping onto me like a stag
Clever,
beetle.
clever.
I love it. Oh,
Or a bee.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm running, and I'm running towards like the goal.
Yeah.
Oh god! And the ball comes to me.
Yes.
Wallop, get it in.
Brilliant. What happened to the bee, though? Did it sting you?
They die, don't they?
I mean, ultimately it died, sure, but at that particular moment,
I
did
mean,
it sting you?
this was probably about 20 years ago, so I imagine.
No. Once a bee stings
So
you,
did
that's
it sting
Yeah,
you?
but did it sting you?
Yeah.
Right, that was the question.
When did it sting you?
When I was playing football.
No.
Carl, do you mind me asking? You say you're on the school football team. Was there just 11 boys at your school? Was that how you got in the squad?
Listen, Carl. All I mean is, at what point in this story did the bee sting you? Straight away?
After
or...
half time.
Play a record, man.
Oh, he's the best! Depeche Mode, I Feel Loved, on XFM 104.9. It's about 17 minutes past 1 on this Saturday.
Go on.
We'll never interrupt me when it's going that well.
Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking of.
That was my record. That was about 4 or 5 sentences.
True.
They
I don't
had
know what I was thinking.
semantic,
I was bored of it.
syntax. There was capital letters, full stops, grammar,
You
everything.
didn't even get the time out, did you?
Why?
What time was it? Quick, what time was it? I interrupted.
17
Sorry, I
minutes
should have.
past.
I was so eager.
1. XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais. With me,
Steve
Smirch
Merchant. Smirch.
and the K-Man.
The K-Man. We're all giving ourselves nicknames now.
Yeah.
Can I just clear something up? This is only a very, very personal thing. Lots of people who listen to the show that I've spoken to, friends of friends and stuff, they think that I'm the guy that plays Gareth in The Office, because my voice is obviously very similar.
It couldn't be further than the truth.
That's so not the case. If anyone's listening, they
Could
think
be
it's
further
me.
than the truth. It
I
could be
don't
like a
want to take
table
credit
playing
for
it.
Mackenzie's performance. That's a guy called Mackenzie Crook. He's a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen his performance. It's not me. Admittedly, he has loosely based his accent for the character on my accent, because obviously it's a comical accent. We all admit that.
Yeah.
We'll agree with that. But that's it. That's where the similarity ends.
Yeah.
All
Mackenzie's
right.
a good-looking fellow, isn't he?
He's a good-looking lad.
I mean, that's not
You're not
a
having to dig at me. I know,
No.
because you're saying I'm a good-looking guy as well. You're just saying we're two differently good-looking guys.
Yeah, Carl, it's all people are all different looks. I mean, you could say Brad Pitt's good looking, but then you could say George Clooney's good looking, and they're both great looking blokes. They don't look alike.
Exactly.
So for me to say Steve and Mackenzie aren't alike, Mackenzie's a good looking fella.
Exactly.
You know,
just mean
if you
that-
looked
it
at
just
the
says I'm
Venn
a good-looking guy in a
diagram
different way.
there, they weren't mutually exclusive. There would be a crossover of good lookingness.
Yeah.
and
I'm
that'd
in
be
that pool with Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
Wow.
Well, it's quite a big pool, Rick, and I'm in there, certainly with them.
Yeah. Not. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in one of those Venn diagram circles.
You are. Yeah. You're over this one. See what's in there?
I noticed that's a separate one, floating off from all the others.
Yeah. Lizards and parrots.
Ah, right.
Okay,
Right.
so
it's
what-
good to be included in something, though. It's good to be part of a gang, Carl. That's very important.
Yeah.
And if that's cleared up,
Depeche Mode
Good.
there, and I Feel Loved. Who'd have thought Depeche Mode would have been that huge? I think I've seen little lads from Basildon with little plinky plonky sound. I thought that'd be it. They'd be like Visage or something. That'd be it. And now they're stadium rock fillers. They're
Yeah.
huge. They conquered America. He went through some hard times. He came out the other way. And well done.
but see, I think what you just said there is a very good example of why they are and why certain other bands aren't. Because if you think about it, for me, you see, whenever I think of a band name, if I see a new band's come along or whatever, I always use a very simple test, which is, can you imagine that you're the announcer at a huge event? Maybe it's like broadcasting around the world, like Live Aid or
Nelson
something.
Mandela
or it's a
concert.
Nelson Mandela Freedom concert.
Yeah.
And you can imagine someone
He's
going,
there. He's there.
Nelson's there.
Yeah,
Everyone's
with the
there.
Spice Girls.
Oh, they're all there. But you can imagine someone saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Depeche Mode." It's
Yeah.
got-
The
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rolling
please-
Stones. The Who.
Exactly. But you can't imagine someone saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Visage."
Ladies and
I mean?
gentlemen, will you please welcome our headline act? Welcome Idlewild.
Exactly. Ladies
doesn't-
and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Ned's Atomic Dustbin. It doesn't. Do you know what I mean? You just know.
The
that
Levelers.
some bands aren't going to make it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mega City 4. Do you know what I mean? It's
So
just.
it's a simple test. We'd like you to do that at
If
home.
you're thinking of starting a band, or you've just named your band, you're
Yeah.
just beginning, just phone in, tell us, or email in, tell us what your
Yeah.
band name is,
And we will
will
do-
use that simple
and
test.
we will do the test. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the stage
The Franken Walters.
Jimmy Eat World?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Cooper Temple Claws. I don't think it's going to happen for those lads.
Here's a good
It's
one.
a simple test anyway, but
100
email.
reasons, please welcome to the stage. 100 reasons.
100 reasons I think would work quite well. I'm just going to give the email address, ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk.
Reasons, if I could.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the stage, Pop Will Eat Itself? Carl, have you got like a sound effect or something of like, can we get the atmosphere
Cheering.
if we're going to test?
Cheering. We'll seek it out with.
Have you got something there? Have a look on there. I'm just looking in the NME for the kind of forthcoming gigs of the smaller known bands, and it might be a useful place to just begin the.
Ladies
test.
and gentlemen, peoples around the world, will you please welcome to the stage Chumba Awamba?
Have you got a sound effect? We got one. Nice, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the stage the Parkinsons? They're playing in Leicester this week, so look forward to them.
That's a good plug, isn't it?
Let me see who else.
If anyone wants to pop down to Leicester to see the Parkinsons.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Cyclefly.
Okay.
Oh, there's a genuine one here. This is someone. Simon's emailed and he says, "Will you just test this name for us?" Okay, Carl, if you can, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the stage Coach? Not utterly convinced.
No,
it's not too
no.
bad. It's not.
I'm worried about the sound effect. We start to sound like Chris Moyles or something. When
Well,
play a sound
he's a
effect.
top broadcaster. Everyone loves him.
Losing weight as well.
He is hilarious. funny man. Just there's one more coming here. I'll just check this one.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome, this is Chris in Oxford, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, meanwhile back in communist Russia.
Is that a band?
I assume so.
I assume it's his band.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Well, how does he listen to us in... Hold on, though, this is only local radio. How does he listen to us in Oxford?
Well, if only there was some kind of digital format that he could listen via the web net.
What is
Carl,
it?
What is
Can
the...
do that.
What is it?
What?
How does he listen in Oxford?
You can listen on Sky Digital,
Go on.
channel 864,
Lovely.
864. Yeah.
and on
the
the
internet?
web,
Yeah.
Okay, what would that web address be?
xfm.co.uk.
Sure.
Click on the audio.
Yep.
And you get XFM 10 seconds behind it actually happened.
Perfect.
Just out of interest, what's the point of saying that if they can't sort of get us in London to listen to that, because they won't be, unless they're either in London, so they won't go through this nonsense, or they're in Leicester and they can't hear us saying Sky
Yeah,
Digital.
we haven't thought that through at all.
And
Because you might work in London for a bit and then have
go back and spread the word.
and like leave,
Go back and spread the word. Disciples.
move back to Leicester,
Yeah.
tell your mates.
Yeah. Soon,
any number of combinations.
Soon, XFM is the most listened to radio station in Britain.
Yeah.
What we need is people on Radio 2 to give it a plug every day.
That'd be ideal.
Yeah, or Radio 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of the big rivals. Virgin.
Yeah.
I mean, we've often plugged Virgin. It's a good station.
105.8 Virgin Radio London.
It's a great station. Really good station.
Hard 106.2.
Lovely.
You're listening to Magic 105.4.
Are you getting quite a lot of voiceover work now, aren't you?
I am. Yeah.
That's not.
I've stopped all that though.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's all right. It
You
was
know.
good.
Well, I'm all right now. I've got a bit of money.
Classic 60s bands. I've just suddenly. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome to the stage The Scaffold?
Oh, the Scaffold. You
remember
picked
the Scaffold, Carl?
You picked the lead singer looks a bit like him. But you know whose brother that is in the Scaffold, don't you? Mike McGear. Do you know whose brother that is?
What?
Do you remember the
The
Scaffold? They did.
Scaffold. Yeah, I remember
We'll
the
drink a drink to Lily the pink, the
And
pink, the
didn't they
pink,
do
the
that?
oh,
The
the
Roses
human
advert as well?
Yeah, thank you very much for the entry. Iron. Do you know whose brother that is?
Whose brother? The lead singer?
No, the Mike McGear in it. Sort of one of the main men in it.
He's one of the songwriters in
McGee. No, I
The
don't.
Scaffold.
Paul McCartney.
You're
Is he?
joking.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that.
yeah, that's Paul McCartney's brother. Think of that when they go home for Christmas. So I think Lily the Pink was what, about 1970?
Yeah. It was number one, wasn't it? Christmas
Yeah,
number one.
yeah, big number one. Yeah, I don't know if it was Christmas number one. Two Little Boys was 1969. Last hit.
No, it definitely was number one.
Yeah, but I don't know if it
The
was
Scaffold
Christmas
was.
number
It was
one.
because I
Yeah.
remember I did it in
Really?
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they go home at Christmas, and Mrs. McCartney goes, "Oh, how are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just starting a new band called Wings." "Yeah, oh yeah. So this is Linda. All right, yeah, sit down." "Mike, what are you doing?" "Just had a number one." "Brilliant, round of applause." "How many number ones do you have, Paul?" 19. Still, we know what we like, don't we?
We'll drink the human race.
Paul goes, "Wow, if you want to." The long and winding.
Boring.
road
We'll
of-
drink.
Wow.
Linda, do you want to be in The Scaffold? We're probably going to go on tour and stuff. I know you love it. Well, I quite like it. Yeah. We'll
Hold on,
drink.
whoa. You're not
What's it
gonna,
called?
you're not going to be in Wings if you're going to play with him.
Well, I got make a tricky decision. I mean, that's a
No,
great song.
what are you
Everyone's
doing?
loving it. It's
What are you-
Christmas number
What
one.
are you doing eating his bacon?
Well, I love
you
it.
don't
He's-
you don't eat bacon.
Yeah, but I love the music. He's a great
Stop
guy.
it. What are you doing?
Well, I just, I love the music.
I
We'll
can't
drink.
believe it.
No, no, you don't.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so... shut
Thank you very much for that.
Aintree Iron.
Oh,
Think of that.
imagine that, because imagine how different going, well, you've had 19 number ones. I mean, it can be
If
a matter of
things-
time.
yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
things stay like this with the
Yeah.
Scaffold,
Yeah.
I'm going to rule the 70s.
Yeah, if things that carry on going like they're going now, the Scaffold... Ladies and gentlemen, will you please
Welcome
welcome...
to the stage, Beck.
Oh, nice one. Dandy Warhols. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Dandy Warhols.
There you are. It's
Get off.
never going to
That
happen.
sounds like Levellers crossed with Wonder Stuff.
Rubbish, isn't it? Really. I mean,
Well,
it's fine. It's chirpy.
It's a
and
nice old song, but it's you know, it's not.
It's that thing of it's just not essential. You
I can't
just
love
don't
it.
really need it in your life. If it never occurred, you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what Carl just said?
Go on.
Were you listening?
Not really.
He looked out the window and he looked at me and he was looking at me and I looked over at him and he said, "See, now's that would be good to die now." Like what? He went, "That weather, that would be good to die." And I said, "Of what?" He went, "Old age."
Yeah.
What's going on up there?
He's a philosopher, Rick.
He is,
He's
isn't
on
he?
a different
No,
plane
you
to
can't
us.
just say it like that. The other week, I came in when it was really miserable, and I said to you, God, can you imagine dying today?
Yeah.
Because
Whereas today you feel it would be a much better day to die because it's
you've got
bright.
the curtains open, sun
Sure.
shining. It's like
I mean,
the
you'd
world
still be a
is-
bit angsty about the dying thing, wouldn't you? I mean, I don't suppose that would be alleviated. Sure. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll still be broadcasting, you know, when one of us reaches that happy moment, and we can check.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of emails, Rick, coming in about band names. I think a lot of people are going wrong for a simple reason. They think it's funny to have an ironic band name.
Yeah.
They think it's a bit comical. And I
Yeah.
just don't think there's any great bands that have had a comical name that have made it into
What was that-
stadium filling.
What was that band? Where's Me Jumper? What were they
I
called?
don't know what they were called. I mean, the obvious example of one that was never going to make it internationally.
Splodgeness Abounds? Splodgeness Abounds?
No.
I like them, though.
Splodgeness Abounds.
Splodgeness Abounds, they were great.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine.
USM.
These are some of the ones we've had emailed in. These are bands, obviously, that haven't made it so far, and I don't think they will. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage The Lazy Birds. Nope. Ladies and
No.
gentlemen, please welcome to the stage The Paperclips.
That's not a real band,
That's what
is it?
someone sent in.
I love that. Yeah, but no band name is weirder than the others, and also you grow into it. I mean, the Stones and the Beatles are iconic because they are iconic bands.
What you think you'll grow into? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shuttle Rock. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Treehouse Casino. I don't think they're gonna...
That's just made up.
Well, possibly.
Well, they all are,
But they all
obviously.
are. But my point is, people say there's
Yeah.
no logic to band names. But if you think a band name like the Smiths,
Great.
that's genius.
It is,
It
yeah.
sums up everything that band is about.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of they're capturing that mediocre world of grim up northness. You know,
My
it's-
favourite, Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth is genius.
Nirvana.
These are incredible band names. So
Yeah.
there is some logic to it.
Yeah.
I genuinely
They sound
believe
like
it's not
it's
just
a bit-
arbitrary words.
What about
The
Madness?
Cure. The Cure.
Madness sounds rubbish,
Well-
but they're good, aren't they?
Yeah, but again, they were never going to be. They were never going to be world beaters.
But they were a comical band essentially.
Yeah,
they
they were
were a
true, but
knees
they-
up party band.
yeah.
And Madness is fine for that.
But they had some great songs as well, and but it did. Then it sort of turned it all because then.
I mean, Rick, I don't know how many members.
Not Home Today is a great song and a
This
serious
is,
song.
this is from an email. I don't know how many members of the band there are in Chimney Factory, but if there's 5 people, who decided? Have they all agreed? Yeah, that's the best name
Do you know
we
what I
can come
reckon
up with.
decided? Dell.
Right.
Well, he started the band and they
Yeah.
rehearsed around his house. So Dale went, "Look, it's called Chimney Factory because
Yeah.
my granny used to run it." They go, "All right, Dale, but it's not. I've got some other. But no,
Yeah.
it's called Chimney Factory."
I own the van and the amps.
As Paperclips gone, there's a band in Leicester called Paperclips. We can't, we'd just argue over that forever.
Anyway, just all I'm saying is think before you name your band, all right? Because it's never going to happen if you've got a comical band name.
There was a feminist band called Clitoris All Sorts, which is quite good, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but you laugh and then you just think, oh,
Yeah.
you know, I'm never going to have that on my T-shirt. Imagine that, clitoris all sorts.
It's that time of the day now, talking of that.
Yep.
Song for the Lovers.
Sure, it's beautiful.
Now, Steve, I mean, I will play great old tunes till the cows come home. We got to give them a little bit of Dandy Warhols and Air and Athlete. I know that, and they're great. They're good, right? But I wanted to play a Cat Stevens song, but I thought I'd better not because I've, play that a little bit. And we quite like resurrecting old reputations, don't we? People like Elton John who had bad faces, or David Bowie.
People
and,
whose names now are largely laughed at in the serious
or
rock
people that
circles.
people might not have considered. I thought Cat Stevens. Oh no, Rod Stewart. I thought.
Was he Rod Stewart? Many people now are thinking of the leopard hot pants and the ludicrous
Do you
hair. They're
think I'm
thinking,
sexy and all those sort of awful stadium sort of disco things? But he wrote beautiful tracks from Maggie May through, and I thought, hold on, 2 birds with 1 stone. What about a Rod Stewart song written by Cat Stevens?
wow, is there such a thing?
The first cut is the deepest.
Let's hear it, Rick.
On this album as well is the killing of George, Georgie Part 1 and 2, remember? About the gay bloke. Georgie Boy was gay, I guess. His favourite song. Carl's favourite song,
Yeah.
right?
Brilliant.
And I was going, oh yeah, I remember that, yeah. I said about, and I said, did not intend to take his life. He just pushed it when he gets mugged and killed. Do you know what he said?
Go on.
I was sitting outside, I was singing, he went, well, as I said, they go out too late.
They go out too
Yeah,
late.
he meant gay people go out too late. He went, no, they do. I went, what do you mean? He said, well, they're always out, they go out when people are coming home. He said, if he'd have been in bed by 10, he'd still be alive today.
That's a sobering lesson.
And he went,
Carl.
there's one that works here, and he's shattered every Monday.
Oh, if you're gay and you're listening, just be in bed earlier. Go
Yeah.
out when sensible people go out.
Yeah.
You're right, we're not on the continent, Carl, is your point?
If you're gay and you're not in bed by 10, go home.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
First cut is the deepest, Rod Stewart.
Song for the night.
Air, Don't Be Light, XFM, 104.9, 5 to 2.
Absolutely.
Ricky Gervais with me,
Steve
Merchant, Smirch,
Smirch.
the Smirch,
The Smirch.
and the K-Man, KP, Carl Pilkington, the K-Man.
Pressing the buttons.
Yeah. See that in Heat this week?
What was it?
About the campaign to stop Carl going back to Manchester. You know, because he's a miserable sort of northerner who goes, London's crap and I want to go back up north.
Yeah.
And I only need 40 quid a week to live up there like king and all that sort of
Yes.
rubbish. Right, well, Boyd from Heat, well, we met him at the that award ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
And we were saying about, oh yeah, he really enjoys Carl. He's getting a lot of
people
people
love
like
him, people
Carl.
love him.
And I was going, oh yeah, but he's thinking of leaving. He was going, oh, start a campaign. And he did, and he put it in there. So the campaign, so write in if you like Carl. If you think he's really annoying, then we'll stop talking to him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like him.
I love him.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the White Van Man column in The Sun, Carl?
seen it,
Are you
yeah.
familiar with this? This is where every day in The Sun they interview a guy who drives a white van, just, in order to get the kind of voice of the man on the street in the paper. And he has to answer, or just give his opinions, really, on events that have made the news each week. Just thought we could maybe throw some of these at you, Carl.
Go on.
Because we know, to see what your views are.
Yeah.
So, just the first thing that comes to your mind, the sort of your initial reaction to each
It's
of
just
these.
top all things, but you don't need to know about them. It's just your philosophy on it.
Yeah,
so
just your views.
You know, yeah.
I have had a few days off this week, remember, so I don't know what's going on in the world.
Yeah, you stayed in London, though, didn't you? You
Yeah,
didn't
but-
travel
You didn't
anywhere.
bury yourself, did you?
I normally see the news, but I didn't this week.
Okay. So, what was your view on Will Young beating Gareth Gates in the final of Pop Idol?
Don't like him. You know what I was thinking about when I was watching it all the way through?
Yeah.
How he looks like he's got a wire coat hanger in his gob. That sort of...
Right.
Again, it's radio, Carl.
Radio.
It's a great
So
face.
The funny face you're pulling doesn't
Yeah,
translate.
and a radio.
And is that's a problem for you, is it?
And just the way he's from a really rich family. I opened up the paper on the Monday or something, and it had like how he went to a posh school and he's got loads of money already.
Yeah.
It's just a bit...
Okay. Right, now, what's
Okay.
the second
All right.
question?
There have been huge rises in street crime, especially muggings and carjackings. What's your view there?
More youth clubs are needed, aren't they?
You think more youth clubs?
I like that.
No? Okay.
No, I like that because it's so 1950s.
Yeah,
it's sort of like you want a Bobby on the beat that'll clip
Yeah.
you around the ear.
So once they've come
Is
out of
it-
national service,
Yeah. No, I love that. And if you find someone smoking a wood bomb, you make them smoke 50.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is great. That is great.
Did you used to go to youth clubs,
Yeah.
and they kept you out of trouble?
You used to get into a fight afterwards when
Sure.
you came out.
But for the sort of hour and a
It was
half you were
alright.
there,
You had a bit of pool and some boxing and a bit of pop.
Yeah.
so more youth clubs. That's good.
I love him. I love him. If you're at home, just make notes because this is brilliant stuff. Honestly, you won't hear more honest, from the heart
Exactly,
stuff
opinions.
than this. This is great. Go on.
This is not pre-planned. These are your direct responses now.
Oh,
as you hear these.
I promise you, Carl did not know what we were going to do. He never knows what we're going to do, and he always answers honestly. That is the beauty of Carl.
What is
it's
your
not
view-
an act.
Go on.
What is your view, Carl, on New York's former mayor becoming Sir Rudy Giuliani? Sir Rudy Giuliani.
Is he happy with it?
He appears to be pleased with it.
Let it go ahead.
Fair enough. Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, he's genius.
Okay.
Is he happy with it? He's like your nan.
Yeah, yeah.
Is-
What do you make of Michael Greco's character Beppe being axed from EastEnders? Problem for you?
The whole soap thing. What's it's back in Coronation Street, isn't she? What's her name?
Who?
Bet
Bet.
Lynn's. She
yeah.
thought she'd go off and be a bigger star.
Yeah.
All went wrong, and now she's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always happens, doesn't it?
Beppy will be back.
Yeah.
No one really cares.
Sure.
That was the guy.
The White Van Man says, obviously they feel the character has run his course, but I think he's a pretty good actor and I can't understand why. So, I mean, obviously there's a White Van Man there who's also got an opinion on script development.
The through line, yeah.
The narrative through line of soap opera.
The 12-week narrative, the arc really showed
It's
itself
just
up.
the two last ones I want your opinion on here. What do you make of a cat that's been cloned in a secret 2.5 million research project?
To find out what?
If
What,
they
to
can
clone
clone
it?
cats, yeah.
Have they had to hurt it?
Sorry?
Have they had to sort of hurt it to do that?
Have they had to hurt it?
Yeah, or is it just scraping its tongue for some stuff?
I
No.
think the cat's fine. The point is that they're cloning another creature which is potentially very dangerous. Have you seen that film where they bring Hitler back?
That cat, what if that cat turned out to be a world dictator?
Exactly. What do you reckon of
No.
cloning generally, Carl? You concerned about it?
When they're cloning for organs,
I
you know,
don't
they grow them for the, you know.
Do you know what cloning means?
Yeah, it's when you like make something else. That's the same, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to do any harm.
Okay. And
Great.
and finally,
When you on the World Council.
yeah. Finally, what do you make of some city workers who were caught bonking in the glass lifts of the Lloyd's building?
What do I make of it?
Yeah. Is that a problem for you? Do you think that's unprofessional?
Was it the lunch break or?
I think it was lunch break.
It
Yeah.
was their own.
It's all right.
It's their own time. I think fair enough. It only takes 45 seconds to go from the bottom to the top. Is that a problem? They moved quickly. They acted, on instinct. You think fair enough if that's their natural instincts and they're both consenting? You think fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much, Carl.
Thanks
Alright.
very much, Carl.
Carl,
Right,
we'll have
Steve,
more of Carl's world-weary opinions next time on the show. Listen, I want to play a track that I love. Nick, if that's all right.
I can't wait for this track. It's by a great band. Just going to do before Steve does this. Coming up, we're going to give away a great game. I'm sort of clearing out my flat. We're tidying out, and then we've got a lot of junk there. And we're going to give away a great game coming up. You've seen it, Steve. You're excited.
I'm looking forward to that.
Look
It's a board
forward to
game,
that.
is
It's a
it?
board game that we're all going to sign. It's going to be
Brilliant.
signed by Jerv Smirch, KP the K-Man.
From-
So you could win that.
The classic album Copper Blue by Sugar. Listening to it again recently, reminded how good it was.
Yeah.
This is the track Hoover Dam. Play it.
White Stripes fell in love with a girl on XFM 104.9. It's 2:10. Right, okay, that's the first hour out of the way. Next hour, Steve, I've got a game to give away. As I say, I'm sort of cleaning out my flat a little bit, and we were going to throw away stuff. And I went, oh, whoa, don't throw that away.
Yeah.
I can give that away on the show because XFM don't give us anything to give away.
No.
Does anyone care what happens weekends?
No.
There's people coming here going, oh, he hasn't turned up, fiddling with stuff, fire alarms going off, the library. But we were looking for a track we played a couple of weeks ago on the same album, and it's gone.
Yeah, it's been pinched since we last played it.
This is I can't believe it. They're moving. That's like a tip out there. And I have to.
No, it is a disgrace, Carl.
It is. It is absolutely. It's disgusting.
How many of the DJs on this station have won multiple awards like Ricky Gervais?
Yeah. How
many of them are double award winning?
To have someone of my calibre. I hurt my ankle, didn't I? Moving a chair. I had to even move my own chair in here, and I hit my ankle. That'll teach me not to wear socks.
Yeah.
The socks would have just taken out the sting.
I think just walking around barefoot generally is a bad idea in London. There's the needles, Rick. There's all sorts.
I
of
know,
stuff.
or that, well, Posh does it in her video. She walks around barefoot.
Oh, you love
My
it.
heart's got a mind of its own.
Ricky absolutely loves the current Victoria Beckham.
Yeah,
film.
I like the sentiment. My heart's got a mind of its own. It's sort of like, doesn't matter what I'm thinking in my head. My heart says something else. Of course, what we did for the last week was change the lyrics.
Just walked
as you
around
do.
for ages.
Does anyone else do that? Just going things like my wife's got a cock of her own. Things like that, and
Seriously, hours of amusement doing that.
just changing it to say
My knob's got some balls of its own.
We're doing that for a week. Meant to be working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were going to give away this game, Rick.
Yeah, it's called Donutters, and it's a game for 4 players, or 2 to 4
Have
players.
you ever played it yourself?
I watched. We sort of got it for a party, and I watched some people.
Can I try and sell it to punters who may...
Yeah, go on.
Play the part of a crazy donut-loving elephant in this hilarious game of fun and fast action.
Yeah. You put on a little elephant thing, and you have to pull up get up the donuts.
Brilliant. Can you be the first elephant to get all your donuts on your trunk? Be the first one... the first one is...
So this isn't a sex game, by the way. There's no euphemisms there.
Some of this is a bit slightly damaged, the packaging, that's why I couldn't read that.
You're joking?
Yeah. But don't worry, because you're not
everything in
asking
there?
much for this, are you? We'll start at £5. Bear in mind, it'll be signed by double award-winning Ricky
No,
Gervais.
of course it's free. And Carl went, you got a question? I went, no. He said, well, something about the Elephant Man. I went,
Something about the elephant.
yeah, and I went, yeah. You know what, John Merrick? He went, yeah. He went, yeah, something about... that awful, wasn't it? I went, you know where Michael Jackson actually bid for the skeleton of that? And he went, what, would the skeleton be affected? I went, without it grows, that's what happens, it's nice. And he went, you don't see any of that about these days, do you? I just said, save it.
Although, of course, you have to put on these masks when you play Donutters, so in
Yeah.
a strange way, that looks kind of Merrick-esque.
Yeah.
And the game, Rick, I should just tell people listening, is Elephantastic.
It is.
It says that on the box.
It
so I'm
is
assuming that's
Elephantastic.
right.
It is Elephantastic.
I mean, you yourself. Can I say a question, actually? This
Go
is
on.
a possible question.
Okay. Should we sign it first?
We should sign it, but based on the Elephant Man question, obviously, we all know who directed the Elephant Man film.
Sure.
Don't
Sure.
we? Yeah.
Parker. No.
David Lynch.
Lynch, of course, yeah.
But do you know who one of the people that got that film made was? He's a very famous comedian. It was his production company that got it up and running. He may be an executive producer. I think he was even the producer of it. And he's an famous American comic actor. You wouldn't imagine this was the same guy who is also producing a very serious, sober film like The Elephant Man, all right? We want to know who was that man.
It's a bit hard for that.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, that'll separate
Bit
the
hard
wheat
for
from
that.
the
What are
chaff.
you, hold on. Have you seen anything else that's Elephantastic? Not even Wellephant was Elephantastic. He was Wellefantastic.
Rick, have you got any more memorabilia that you want to give to people? Maybe
get
every
rid
couple
of,
weeks?
yeah.
Because I have to say, I've got
The
loads.
council won't take it away.
I've got loads of junk in my house. I've got an old fridge freezer in the front garden. Anyone's welcome to come and pick that up anytime. I'll sign it for them.
But what about children climbing in it? That's not one of those with the handles, is it?
There's several children trapped in there at the moment. Yeah, but that's a sobering lesson
You
for
know
the
what,
local council who won't
what-
come and pick it up.
It's a problem, though, isn't it? Because you can't just
Smash it
chuck
up,
them
you're
out
right,
anymore.
no.
I don't
No.
know what you're meant to do.
Well, listen, right, when I was growing up, I remember the council used to charge £5 or something to take away, like, cookers and fridges, so my dad used to bury them. Down the bottom of my garden, I don't know, there's a cooker, there's a fridge, there's a freezer of some sort, there's a dog and a couple of cats. They were dead.
I'm
to
not
be
saying
fair.
my father's quite a mean man, as you know, but my dad used to do that with dead relatives.
Yeah, because those funeral parlours take the piss.
Very expensive.
So a funeral can be, up to 40 quid.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Whereas
So-
a shovel,
A shovel.
borrowed
yeah.
off the bloke next door,
Yeah,
that's a
and,
massive saving.
and not given back, to be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, he's going to go soon. What's he going to say?
Okay, to win Donutters, signed by Mr. Ricky Gervais and two other blokes you've never heard of. It's Elephantastic.
Yeah.
And the question is, what was the name of the famous comedian, American
Give out the
comedian,
number. Give out the number.
that produced and had heavy production involvement in the film The Elephant Man? The email address is ricky.gervais@xfm.co.uk. Carl, what's the phone number?
08700 800 1234.
Right, next up, we've had a lot of requests. Carl's popularity is growing. They want to hear his Super Mega Mix, the Britney Spears thing. Big it up. Big it up.
Yeah, it's good.
No, tell us what it
introduce
is.
it.
All right, it's Mark Bean Blade, the vocals of The Unknown over Britney Spears. Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Let's hear
Play
it.
it.
It's highly illegal.
We're fantastic.
Go on then. Back announce it, Carl. It's yours. Go on.
That's Mark Bean Blade there with a bootleg.
And what's it called? You called it something, haven't you? You cleverly called it something. What did you call it?
Nick this record one more time.
Good. Very
like
good.
that?
Carl Pilkinson there, breaking all kinds of copyright rules.
Now, coming up, we're going to be talking a little bit of Feng Shui. The art of moving things around so it's better.
The ancient Oriental art of rearranging your living room.
Yeah, the ancient art of don't sit near a window
Exactly.
because you won't get any money for it. And we've got a book.
Well, we've been exploring Feng Shui for our own amusement.
Yeah, and we're going to be reading some great things.
This is just good. It's good, solid Feng Shui advice for us.
I mean, what do you need to know? I mean, just keep those questions coming to life. If you've got any question for Carl, don't forget that's an ongoing thing. Anything in the world, any question, personal problems, philosophies, it can be anything. Just ask Carl if you want. Just ask Carl. Okay. All right, Carl, you're up for that, aren't you?
Yeah, that's
And you'll
right.
give your honest opinion, won't you? Always.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should we give away Donutters?
Oh, it's been won. Who's won it, Carl?
Scott Hammond.
Well, well done.
Well done, Scott.
He'll be loving that. He's probably going to have a party, especially to play Donutters.
We've had a number of right answers, but I'm afraid Scott's the winner. And the question, of course, was which famous American comedian was heavily involved in the production of the film The Elephant Man? It was, of course, Mel Brooks.
Surprising.
And he's got a company called Brooks Films.
Our
and they've-
first person that called in, I think he was a bit confused. He said, "Is it testicles?"
Yeah, yeah.
He went, "What?" The producer went, "Testicles."
What was that illness years ago? Right, there was a couple of lads at our school.
Oh, yeah.
had really big heads
Right.
and webbed fingers.
And webbed fingers.
And
Sorry, wait. Were that? Hold on. Did you find him in a pond? Did they used to be little tadpoles?
no,
Carl, you're not
seriously.
confusing your past with an old episode of
No,
Doctor
no.
Who, are you?
What were they called? These two?
Oh, I didn't mix with them.
Right.
It was just like... Of
course not.
There was nobody thought anything of it at school. Cause
No,
it was like,
sure.
You used to it.
Yeah, it's the North.
There goes the creature from the Black Lagoon again.
yeah. He's
He's
late.
brilliant at trigonometry.
He's late for double maths.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I didn't think anything
What
of it.
is it called? What is the disease called where two fellas, are they
Not even related.
rubbish?
Not related.
Were you near a nuclear power station when you were growing up?
Yeah,
You weren't really?
yeah.
God, this explains so much.
This has got
Well,
a
I
bit
don't
heavy.
think that's it.
Hey, talking of enormous heads,
Yeah.
you were at the Pop Idol final, weren't you, Rick? You went
Yeah.
down there just because obviously Rick's a huge fan of Pop Idol. He wanted to be there. He wanted to
Yeah.
give us support.
Quite seriously, there was no irony there. We were
Yeah,
having
he
a
genuinely
great
is a
time.
fan of it. And he was. You sort of had drunk and you wanted to have a
Yeah.
memento of it. And it's obviously
Yeah.
a picture of you with Fat Man Rick Waller.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the best one is a picture of Ricky and his girlfriend with Dr. Fox,
Yeah.
whose head
It's twice
is
the size of
of
mine.
any other head. It's quite remarkable. I
He's
don't know
like
how
a
they make
barrel.
it.
He's a lovely bloke, and he was really nice to meet him and everything. But and he looks like an immaculate tan, and he's always happy, and he's he's.
It
just
looks
really
on the
good.
picture. It looks like someone you might see in a carnival who's built a huge papier-mâché head, and it's just we're like Frank Sidebottom, just sort of walking on the road. It's just incredible.
Dr. Fox didn't used to go to your school, did he? He used to hang around with a mate. They were great swimmers. They were brilliant swimmers. Oh God.
Have we got another song lined up?
Yeah. What are we gonna play?
Bit of Pheromonge.
Bit of who?
Pheromonge.
Let's hear it.
Faramunch, got ya. XFM 104.9. Well, as we promised, some feng shui. What do you want to know? Ratio of windows. It's one of those little books that you see at the sort of like the front desk of like Waterstones or Dillon's or one of those. And it's just it's a little guide. It's should I say what it is? I'm allowed,
you may as
aren't I?
well.
Lillian Two's little book of feng shui. And obviously she can't go into it in depth, but it's some little,
Just some little sort of nuggets, I suppose.
yeah,
isn't it?
ratio of windows. The ratio of windows to doors in your rooms should not exceed 3-1. Too many windows calls all your luck to seep away. Obviously. Hello. It is also better not to have windows on the wall opposite the door.
Is that the case in your place, Carl? Because you may need to brick that up when you get back later.
I always remember I used to work nights,
Yeah.
right? And it was when my brother just sort of got kicked out of the army.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad went away on holiday, so he was staying with us.
He's got to write a book, this bloke.
And,
You have got to write a book, Carl. Go
I
on.
came back,
Yeah.
and there was women everywhere. There's women in every bed in the house. I thought, where am I going to sleep?
Had he set up a brothel? What?
So no, it's just a bit of a one.
That's
so-
impressive, though. A girl in every single bed. I mean,
He was mad. So I slept on the sofa downstairs,
Mm.
and I didn't sleep that well.
yeah,
But I slept on it before when it was facing a different way,
sure.
and I had a good sleep.
So for you, that's
So-
proved the worth of feng shui.
Yeah, I think there's something in it.
Do you honestly think there's something in it, though?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, well, just read a few of the others, Rick.
Okay, well,
Just-
it's not big. I think most people know this one. Display the three-legged frog for luck. Look for a three-legged frog. You can buy one from any Chinese supermarket and place it in the vicinity of your front door, facing inwards as if it has just come into the house. Don't place the frog facing the door. Please.
Oh, come on, people.
What
Think
are you-
before you place your frog.
I mean, this really is. I mean, but
What's the last page? Because that will be the most important one.
do you reckon?
the last one I
The wealth vase. Make a wealth vase and keep it hidden in your cupboard. It can be made of gold, crystal, or glass. Can I just say something? If you've got a vase made of gold, you're probably all right for money anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
But this is the wealth vase. How to make the wealth vase?
Fill it with semi-precious stones and with soil taken from a rich man's garden.
So just find the soil of a rich man. Take some soil from the
this is like bury a piece of steak and the water will go.
Yes.
I have a tooth of frog. This is.
It's the one where with the gods. Can you find that one?
Oh, where's that one? Yeah.
What do you make of feng shui, Carl?
I
Is it
think
something you
it's,
believe in?
Well, like I said, I didn't sleep well on the sofa when it
So
was
for you,
facing the
that's
other way.
proof
So it's-
positive.
Yeah, you've got to get it right, haven't you?
I'd like Carl to read this out.
Okay.
Yeah, do you mind? Read it out. Just read it out loud.
Which one?
Yeah, the gods are here. Right. Okay.
Just read that. That's such a good
Invite
bit.
the
of
gods
Yeah,
of wealth into your home.
yeah,
The Chinese have several gods of wealth,
yeah.
which they display in their homes to attract what? Prosperity.
Prosperity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My personal favourite is T.C.S. Chi Yi,
Yeah.
who sits on a tiger.
He sits on a tiger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
It's pretty difficult to find this fella.
Yep.
If you could use Kang Kung or the 3-star gods, oh no.
Read him out.
Read out the names of the star gods.
F.U.K.
Read it out.
no,
Just
he's
read
a
that.
god.
It's a
He's a
Chinese
god.
god. You're
He's a
allowed to
Chinese
say
god.
Chinese god on the radio.
No.
You are allowed to say
Well, if you're allowed
Chinese.
to say it, you say it then.
Well, you're so immature.
Read the three of them out, Rick.
Okay. If he is difficult to find, you should use Quan Kung or the 3-star gods, Fuck, Luck, and Sao, all of whom bring wealth and prosperity.
Now, what were the names of the gods again? Because if I'm making a note at home, Rick,
Well,
I better...
it's a Chinese god.
Yeah, there's Quan Kun, or you can use Luk Sao. Or...
You can't.
What? But it's a god. F-U-K. That's how it's...
Yeah, I assume. I don't know if we're pronouncing it wrong. I really
Apologies
apologise.
if we're offending anyone who's of an Oriental persuasion. But that's Quan Kun or Luk Sao or Fuck. And any of those gods are available at a Chinese supermarket.
Near you.
Yeah. That's Feng Shui. It's an ancient art. You can't give me that look.
Clinic. Walking with thee. So that's Feng Shui.
That's Feng Shui sorted.
We've given away donutters. We've talked a little bit about band names today. With more insight into Carl's psyche. Now, you during that record, you said, we knock everything. You saw something about the Bermuda Triangle, didn't you? That
Yeah, when I talked about Ghost, you sort of just, because you don't believe in it. I think it's because you're scared of it, to be honest, and you can't admit to understanding it and
Sure.
actually believing in it.
Sure.
Thing on last night, Steve,
Yes.
Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know much about that?
Mainly the song
Yeah.
by... What was his name?
What's his name?
Bermuda
Triangle.
Triangle, where people
No,
disappear.
no,
Bermuda
did-
Triangle.
What's his
don't
name?
go near.
No, Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the lyrics? Bermuda Triangle, where people disappear. Bermuda Triangle, don't go near.
Yeah.
I shouldn't really make a joke out of it.
No, you're right. Go on.
But what it is, right? There's a program saying what it's about. What do you know about it?
As I say, mainly from what Barry's told me, but certainly planes and various boats have gone missing within the Bermuda Triangle.
Planes.
Yeah, but obviously that documentary didn't explore
He
it.
learned a lot about that. I learned a lot about American history through "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel.
Again, most
So-
of my knowledge of the sort of Tsarist Russia comes from
Rasputin by Boney M.
Well, listen.
Yeah, he was the lover of the Russian queen.
They put some poison into his wine.
Yeah, yeah. They shot him till he was dead.
Yeah.
Which is, go on.
Right, well, this,
Oh, those
right?
Russians.
Sort of bit of an earthquake in the sea.
Sure.
Lets out methane gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And apparently, if you were swimming out in the sea,
Yeah.
and there was like an earthquake and some methane came out,
Yes.
you can't swim in it, you just sink.
Okay.
Even if you're a good swimmer.
What happens if you're two lads from your school, and they
Big heads.
yeah, that's like a buoy.
Doesn't
So you can
work.
see them a mile off,
No, no,
and
no.
their webbed hands would get them into shore.
Because they did actually say, even if you're wearing a life jacket, if the water's full of methane, right?
You just
methane,
sink.
You just sink. So what it's saying is, boats have gone across the sea, got a load of methane in the sea, and the boat just sinks.
Right. What about the planes?
Is it them sort of planes with little sort of floaty things
Could
on?
be.
That'll be the sort they've landed in the sea.
Right.
And methane's coming.
Well, sorry, Carl. What did the documentary say? Not I imagine.
Yeah, your hypothesis might be one
Yeah.
thing.
What
No,
did
but
they sound
They
documentary?
didn't cover that bit. They didn't do
cover the planes.
They didn't do the planes.
Something else they said about it though.
Go on.
Loch Ness, the monster,
Sure.
probably doesn't exist.
Okay.
What
Oh.
it is,
Interesting. Hold on. Interesting. Oh, interesting.
Is-
What they thought the not list probably didn't exist.
Curious viewpoint.
Hold on. What proof have they got for that, Carl? How can they go around saying stupid things like that?
it's methane,
Right.
Again, in Loch Ness.
and people have seen. What's the lake it's in?
Loch
Loch Ness.
Yeah.
It being the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it lives. That's how it finds its way
That's,
home.
that's
You're
certainly the
never
clue.
gonna learn.
Yeah,
If we get again, Carl, that's the clue.
Yeah, if it go, and it's if it's wondering, it goes, excuse me, would you know where I'm being the Loch Ness monster? Where would I be going? Oh, you'd be going to the Loch Ness if that's your home. It's way over there, you
So
big
anyway,
monster, you.
So the bubbles from the
Sure.
methane bubble up out of the water.
Yeah.
People think, oh god, it's a monster's head. But it's not, it's just water sort of shooting up because of the bubbles.
Well, that's two of the great mysteries of the universe solved by Carl P on a Saturday afternoon.
That is
what I like.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So that makes me think a lot of things. So you know when mediums are sort of like going, oh, I've got something coming through. Do you think they are exhaling a lot of methane gas, and thus making them not think straight? Do you think everything's down to methane gas? Do you think that all the mysteries of the universe are down to methane gas, Carl? What did it say in the documentary you saw?
About what?
What was the budgie happy? We know that budgie was sad. Was it in a room? Because they used to take canaries down the mines, didn't they? They used to take canaries down the mines, they'd smell the methane, and then the budgie would be happy.
I'm not going to teach you anymore.
Play a record.
Oh,
Should we introduce this, shouldn't I?
Go on, then.
Oh, it's Beatles, Long and Winding Road.
Smooth. Are we getting paid for this?
Our Freaks Electric, Richard X and the Sugar Babes on XFM 104.9. Well, nearly through. We've had a few laughs again,
Yep.
a few tears.
Absolutely, as always.
Few, excuse me, and don't be alarmed. I look quite frightening, but I'm merely a nice monster. I seem to have lost my way home. Could you direct me in the right direction?
Nice to meet you. Yeah, Carl Pilkington.
Hi.
What's your name?
Why do you need to know my name?
Well, it might help me to find out where you come from.
Oh, my name's the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay, all right. Give me a second. What was your name again?
Loch Ness Monster.
See, this is what I mean. When you came in, you're all over me. Like a rash.
Being nice to you.
Yeah. Gets towards the end, you get nasty.
It's the phone. Answer it. See who it is.
Can you give us a second, listeners? Just amuse yourselves for a moment. We're
Who
just
is it?
speaking to Carl's just on the phone there, speaking to someone. The rest of who that is.
Who is it?
Time. It's
There's a
10 to 3.
listener wants to know if you're doing a live show somewhere tonight.
So just a private call now. Asking Ricky. if
I
he's
am,
performing
yeah.
later.
But
Ricky, of
I
course,
don't want to
has
say it
appeared
now.
recently on television.
I
David
don't mind
Brent
one person
in
now. I
the
don't want
Hit
to get that
Sitcom
on
The
air.
Office, and often performs live at different venues around the
Yeah.
country.
Okay.
So while those two take care of business. All right, guys, have you finished that private call?
That was a mess.
Jeez, that was outrageous. You know you're a fan of Feng Shui, Carl, and you believe it's all true. I just run this one past you just on the off chance.
Yeah.
Because maybe that you change your opinion slightly.
Yeah.
Feng Shui teaches you to use your environment wisely.
Sure.
If your land and the surrounding area is undulating, it's said to house auspicious dragons. When land is flat and featureless, the dragon is missing and the land is said to be less auspicious.
Excuse me, they call me the Brixton Dragon.
Sure.
I seem to have lost my way. I know it's South London somewhere, but could you help me find my home?
What's your name?
Well, they call me the Brixton Dragon.
Right, where are you from?
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Aye.
Oh, okay, man. So does that make you query it at all, the dragon?
I'm not into it that much.
Right,
I'm
sure.
just saying that if you have your head at one end of the bed rather than the other, it might make a difference to your night's sleep.
It's not so much Feng Shui, though, is it, as sort of good advice, generally. When you went
It's
home...
like, don't sleep on the end of a spike near a cliff.
Good
I mean that's good advice, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you went home and the house was full of women, why did you sleep on the sofa? Why did you not pop upstairs and sort of
Into a warm bed.
with a woman? Were they dressed or? Is your brother still sort of have those kind of parties or?
I haven't seen him for years.
Sure. Where's he
really?
living now?
I don't know.
Okay.
What's his name?
Mark.
He's not known as like Moss Side Mark.
Because that could be a clue.
10 Dawlish Road Mark.
He's never out of prison long enough to get a nickname.
Hey,
Really?
steady on. It's getting a bit heavy, isn't it?
God, is this what's motivated a lot of your anxiety?
Yeah.
The hair loss, that sort of thing.
We always go a little bit too far, don't we?
A little bit dark at the end of the show.
I know. Well, it's, well,
Do a
sorry about
request
that.
then for Pete.
Oh, Pete wanted a little bit of Muse. Yeah, if Pete wants it. I mean, I'm not a big fan. I don't mind Muse. I've still not got over them doing that summertime song. What was it called?
Nina Simone cover, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, let's not bring the show down.
No.
Let's play Muse, and then we'll be
Pete
pretty
in
much
South
finished.
Kensington. Plug in, baby.
Let's enjoy it.
Thinking sideways.
I don't understand.
Does not compute.
You never know.
Insufficient data to formulate
series of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hey everyone, this is Thinking Sideways, the podcast. I'm Devin, joined as always by
Joe.
And Steve.
and Steve.
And Steve. It's my new name.
Hey guys, happy birthday!
Huh?
But
It's our birthday today. We're a year old today.
not quite.
Yeah. It's been 52. Isn't this our 52nd episode in 52
Yeah.
weeks?
52 weeks.
Yeah. But our
So-
anniversary's not till the 53rd.
Oh, why?
Yeah. Well, think of it this way. Your birthday is on a certain day, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's 365 days in the year. So on day 365, it's the day before your birthday, if your birthday is day 1.
It makes sense.
All right, fine. I'm just gonna trust you guys. So fine. Never mind. Happy birthday next week.
Yeah, totally. And thank you for the wishes, by the way.
You're welcome.
Where's my present?
It's about to be delivered in the form of this episode.
Okay.
And this is a juicy, enticing episode.
It's an okay one. Yeah. It's actually a listener suggestion from way back. Probably one of our first listener suggestions.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Yeah. We got it via Reddit, actually, from a user named O and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Nate.
O and 8.
Yeah. O ampersand 8.
No, it's
O
O
and D.
and 8. O and 8. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry it took me so long to get to this.
Well,
one.
actually, let's be honest. I remember we all said Joe would probably do this story, so it's really
Yeah.
Joe's fault that we haven't done the story yet.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, I've been a slacker. Now this one was a little too overwhelming and confusing. It's one of these ones where how to put it? It got its start, and pretty soon like everything but the kitchen sink was in there.
Yeah, that's why I have this handy dandy bullet point list of all the things that I think are hilarious attached to them.
So what are we talking about?
We're going to talk about the Montauk Project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And of course its sister project, the Philadelphia
Well,
experiment.
we're going to go ahead and gloss over the Philadelphia experiment
Yeah.
today.
But it's
know that it's
tangentially
connected.
Involved, yes.
Apparently, it's connected.
Well,
Through the space-time continuum, it's connected.
It's connected in that it exists in the same universe,
Uh-huh.
probably. But
well,
I
it could also be
figured
connected to the Istall woman and to
you know
the
what?
Jefferson Davis 8.
this could explain. This is why it's your birthday gift, Steve, is because it could actually explain
Everything?
all of the 52 mysteries we have thus far tackled.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I just figured we would gloss over the Philadelphia Project, save it for a rainy day
All right.
because it's too big for little old me to handle.
It is,
is a lot,
kind of a big, tangled mess.
Yeah. The Montauk Project, I'm saying that right?
Montauk?
Montauk? Sounds
Yeah.
right to me.
Is this series of secret U.S. government projects that were conducted at, I think, as far as I can tell, it's the same place. It's Camp Hero, which was renamed the Montauk Air Force Station, right? Camp Hero became...
no, the other way around. I think that there was a Montauk Air Force Station, and then they donated the land to the county or something.
I thought...
To Nassau County, and then they turned it into a park.
Right, but Camp Hero was during the World Wars. It was an army base.
Yeah, it was.
And then it became an Air Force base. Then they donated it to be a state park.
Right.
Okay, I'll buy that.
It's in Montauk, Long Island. Apparently, it existed for the purpose of developing psychological warfare techniques and exotic research into time travel.
Yeah.
Or...
don't forget mind control and mind reading.
Yeah, well, I feel like that's psychological warfare, kind of, right? Or alternately, there was a Stargate there, and Nikola Tesla and some aliens probably made it.
Entirely possible.
I'm laughing at that, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yes.
Tesla does have a role in this.
So I'm going to tell you guys a little story.
Okay.
Hop in the not so Wayback Machine. We're not going to hop in the Wayback Machine.
Nah.
We just took it out last week. We gotta.
Yeah, it's in the shop.
Can't ever do that.
So in 1945, American troops liberated France. Right, that's true. We know that. That's not really a conspiracy. Apparently, at the same time, some troops discovered a train full of Nazi gold that was stopped in a tunnel. They notified the proper authorities, who arrived on the scene, took the gold, and then killed all the soldiers because dead men tell no tales.
And I couldn't. So were these the soldiers that discovered it that were U.S. soldiers or soldiers that were already on the train? Because I thought I heard it was Nazi soldiers that they killed.
Oh, I understood it that
I
it
thought
was.
they were Allied soldiers that they
Yeah, I that's why I'm asking, because I remember thinking I read that it was they killed all the Nazi soldiers.
Well, I think they probably just killed everyone.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if there were Nazi soldiers, certainly they killed them. But I'm given to understand they also killed the Allied soldiers.
This is a release of Call of Duty, basically, is what you're telling me right here.
Yeah.
One man survives.
You got to kill everybody and then teabag them.
So yeah, so the moral of the story is, if you find a trainload of gold, you just like hide it and don't tell anybody. You
national secret. Oh my gosh, what's that?
National treasure.
Yeah, national treasure it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Okay.
Okay. Also, at the same time, during the crumbling Reich, right? That's how you say that word.
Oh yeah.
The Third Reich.
The Third Reich.
Mm-hmm.
I just, you know what? Sometimes I can't say words. It's fine. We know this. Americans were helping German scientists flee the country, which we also recognize as probably being true, or absolutely being true.
And I don't know how many we got out before the war's end, but we certainly grabbed a bunch of them after the war was over too.
Can I interrupt something?
Fine.
All right, because we're talking about this
Operation Paperclip.
Paperclip, and we're talking about the Germans a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that some of the weird German experiments are why we took these guys.
Yeah.
So did you guys see the article that's come out recently about Hitler and Himmler and the awesome stuff that they wanted to do, making their own Jurassic Park?
No, what?
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, it's so funny, and evidently this is quote unquote true papers that have been discovered. Is that to help show that the German lineage had been there, was always the strong people, what they were going to do is they were going to backwards engineer some it's a bull or some kind of cow that was 7 feet tall that was from the Jurassic period, and release it into the wilds of Poland so that these strong men of the Reich could hunt them. Because that's right up there with the crazy stuff that we're going to talk about that these guys were in.
I guess I feel like if I had a lot of money and was planning on taking over the world, I would probably build a Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I think they ought to build a real Jurassic Park.
I think they probably should.
Cool.
We saw how well that worked in film number 1 through 4.
Well, obviously we wouldn't be dummies.
The movies aren't realistic.
Anyways, back to our story.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Operation Paperclip.
Operation Paperclip.
And lots of these scientists were brought back to America and teamed up with scientists who'd worked on the Philadelphia experiment, given the Nazi gold that we were just talking about.
Why were they given the Nazi gold?
And a research facility that was built underground, and that became the Montauk Project.
Yeah, beneath, built in a 12-story underground complex.
Maybe, yeah.
Now,
we'll talk about what they built under there in a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Because it turns out, apparently, they have given all of the land to the Forest Service. Mm-hmm. They still own the land below the radar unit that sits on top of the Montauk Project.
Yeah.
Apparently.
That's true, but I think what that meant really is that they kept the mineral rights just in case, gold was discovered or something like that. And I'm not talking Nazi gold. But
gold were discovered.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. But why did they give them the Nazi gold?
Oh, to pay them and to fund their research?
But why didn't they just get some money from the treasury?
Well, because it was this Nazi gold.
You have free gold.
Nazis like Nazi gold?
Well, I don't know. I think you have to launder it somehow. You can't just go to the bank and say, "Hey, here's all this Nazi gold. Mm-hmm. We're gonna keep it."
Just melt it down.
I guess you probably could. You are the U.S. government.
It's a little easier just to melt it down.
That's probably true.
A little easier
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't have a good answer.
Okay.
Sorry. I can keep making things up if you want.
Nah,
no? We'll move on? Okay.
Okay.
The base is all the way at the end of this island.
Yeah, the east end of Long Island.
Yeah. For people who live on Long Island, you follow Route 27. I don't know what that means.
It's a point. It's kind of a spit of land.
It's kind of, if you look at Google Maps, the highway goes out on the south side of the island, and then Montauk Point is there's this little blob at the very, very end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wide, then it narrows down to this very narrow, skinny little passageway, and it widens out again, and that's where Camp Hero and all that other stuff is.
Yeah, so in World War II, it was called Camp Hero, and it was used for coastal defense, had really big guns.
Well, it's got the big radar station on it. Is
Well,
what
now.
It was. Oh, did they have guns on it?
They had large
okay.
guns and bunkers, and then that was the Army gave the base to the Air Force, and it became known as the Montauk Air Force Station, and they built this big radar. If you Google Montauk Project, and actually we'll put up some pictures on the website too, that huge radar thing is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was used as an actual radar station
Briefly until it became
in
obsolete.
the Cold War.
And what kind of? Do you remember what kind of radar it is? It starts with an S.
I thought it was an AH-356 or something like that. I really can't remember.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a technology that, as soon as they built it, was out of date and was no longer worth anything.
Yeah, it was like I had the chance to go on board an old 50s era submarine that was called the Sailfish, and it was built as a radar picket boat because radars weren't small enough to put on planes that could land on aircraft carriers, but the aircraft carriers needed radar coverage, so they built a series of submarines that had these enormous sails and these retractable radar dishes and everything, so they could be a distance out with their radars on, monitoring for incoming enemy planes and everything. And then before they even, I don't think they even did much time in service, and then they became obsolete. And so, what do we do with this thing? Well, I guess we'll just turn it into a regular submarine with a really huge, huge sail on it. So that's what they did.
For fun.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Because we can.
No sense throwing it away.
Yeah, according to the legend, I guess, the base lost its funding in the 1960s because the radar technology became obsolete.
Yeah.
But apparently it was open until 1983.
Because they were doing experiments.
I guess. And as Joe previously stated, it's a New York State park now.
Yeah.
But the radar equipment is still intact and standing.
You can actually see it on Google Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kinda cool, yeah.
Well, and people use it rather than the lighthouse that's on Montauk Point. They use the radar as kind of a daytime reference point because it's easier to see than a lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's big.
So
It's really big. And, as I said before, the story is that they actually built bunkers below it, built down, and that the government retains the rights to that, whether it's actually not improved down there and it's minerals or what have you. Apparently, the U.S. government still owns
what's
whatever's below. So apparently, if in fact there is something below there, it's the base itself, and the radar was actually a cover-up for what was below. Apparently, there were as many as 12 stories deep. I don't know, what do you call it when it's not
levels?
Levels deep.
12 levels, I guess. Yeah.
Some people say that it's really, really documented that there's a subterranean city beneath the base that's still being used today by secret branches of the military. People say that the radar equipment was built as a cover-up, that the military could conduct experiments in time travel and mind control, and that the electronics equipment was a cover for that. People also say that there's a 50-foot tall pure titanium pyramid under there, so I guess we'll take what people say with a little bit of a grain of salt.
You think so?
Why a titanium pyramid?
I don't know. I was thinking it would make more sense to say it was gold, and that that's what they used the Nazi gold for, but...
Trainload of Nazi gold to make a pretty big pyramid.
Yeah. But I don't know why pure titanium, because it conducts space-time antimatter better. I don't know.
Radio frequency waves, as somebody said.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if you're gonna build a 12-level underground complex, that seems like a really inappropriate place to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the water.
Whereas the water table is pretty close to the surface there. Yeah. It just seems like there's a lot easier places to build.
I agree.
I mean, it's conceivable, but you'd think they'd go hollow out a mountain or something like that, or maybe pick a dormant volcano and build their lair in there.
Maybe they needed the seawater.
Yeah, good point.
Maybe.
Oh, I want to point something out too. And
Sure.
I'm ashamed of all the people out there that have gone over this story so many times for not noticing this obvious thing. But only 20 miles away to the northwest is Groton, Connecticut, home of a U.S. submarine base. And it's entirely possible they were smuggling Nazi gold, scientists, and everything else via submarine across the Long Island Sound to a secret subterranean submarine base underneath the complex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
I get it. Actually, that's a really Joe with the breakthrough theory. That's a really good theory.
Oh, absolutely, totally. But because when you think about it, why would they pick this particular spot? It's in such a populous area. Even though for the area, it's somewhat deserted, but it's such a populous area why did they go out somewhere in New Mexico, in the middle of the desert somewhere? Well, think about it. What's 20 miles away? A submarine base. I know it makes no sense. But.
No, actually, I mean, it makes more sense than a lot of stuff we're going to talk about tonight.
Well,
so.
I think that when you're talking about 12-level underground complexes, I think a secret subterranean submarine base is kind of a necessary thing. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. Interesting. So here's the story, kind of. I'm sorry. Here's the theory, the kind of overarching theory of what happened here, or what was happening here. I don't know. There's a lot of these. This is the one that I like the most. I feel like there's a lot here.
So you're going to lead with your favorite and then just trail down from there? Is that what you're gonna do?
The rest of them are just kind of like weird assertions. Like nobody has spent very much time to kind of give anecdotal evidence or anything like that.
The rest of them are assertions? This one isn't?
Well, okay, this one is too, but there's anecdotal evidence that goes with it. Whereas the other ones I can bullet point down.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So, on or about August 12th, 1983, all credible stories start with on or about. Just throw that out there. A porthole in time, quote unquote, was created which allowed researchers to travel anywhere in space or time. This was developed into a stable, quote, time tunnel. Because of this...
Which went to a single point in the past?
Well, no. They could kind of control it, maybe. It's unclear. There are two kind of variations on what happened specifically because of this. In the first instance, they both kind of have the same thing to kind of have... Well, let's just start talking about this.
Okay.
All right.
So because of this time tunnel...
Oh, by the way, was this a really long tunnel? I mean, did you need like a golf cart to get down it?
Joe, you stop it.
Sorry.
Because of this time tunnel, either the time travel project at Montauk interlocked in hyperspace with the original Philadelphia experiment in 1943... The story tends to go thusly. The USS Aldridge, that was in the Philadelphia experiment, I guess?
Yep.
I don't know. Was drawn into hyperspace and trapped there. Two men, Al, how do you say his last name?
Bielek, I think.
Bielek and Duncan Cameron both claim to have leaped from the deck of the USS Aldridge while it was in hyperspace and ended up, after a period of severe disorientation, at Camp Hero in the year 1983, at the Montauk Project. They claim to have met John von Neumann. That's how you would say that, right? That's how I say that.
John von Neumann.
It's Von.
Von Neumann.
He's a physicist and mathematician. He died in 1957.
But they met him in 1983.
Met him in 1983. Just calm down.
Yeah.
He apparently, that scientist, von Neumann, also was apparently connected to the Philadelphia experiment. So the claim is that they actually, in Montauk, the time tunnel opened up into the Philadelphia experiment. Maybe. Apparently, the origin of the Montauk Project dates also to 1943 when radar invisibility was being researched aboard the USS Eldridge. I don't know. It's kind of this modge podge of story that I can't totally tell.
Here's the easy way to think about the Philadelphia experiment.
Yes.
They wanted to figure out how to make a ship invisible to radar. They did some kooky science, and some kids in a van got involved. Okay, no, that part's not real.
No.
They have a dog.
But they accidentally made the ship disappear for a couple of moments. It completely went invisible to the naked eye and radar. It traveled through time, and then it zipped back to where it came from, and people were dead because they had fused with the ship or were completely loony.
Yeah.
The simple Cliff Notes version of the Philadelphia experiment.
Sure. So apparently where the ship ended up was the Montauk Project. Apparently.
So that would explain a lot, though. So when it disappears, that's because the Montauk thing is causing it to go like whoop.
And I can't decide if the theory is that the Philadelphia experiment caused the time tunnel, opening or if the Montauk experiment caused the USS Eldridge to disappear.
But somehow they made it up that 40-year bridge.
Yeah, apparently.
And then what's his name jumped off the ship and wound up in Montauk.
Yeah, what's his name? Al
and Duncan.
Bielek and Duncan Cameron.
yeah.
And I can't tell. You guys said that you watched some interviews with him. Is that true?
I listened to part of an interview with Al Bielek. Is that how we're saying his name?
I guess.
Yeah.
Bielek. Okay. And
I couldn't totally tell if he claimed to have been part of the Philadelphia experiment in 1943.
He did. It's really weird. He claims that he was on that ship in 43.
And then he jumped off in Montauk.
And he jumped off while it was traveling through hyperspace. So he looked at his buddy Richard Dean Anderson and said, "I'm out of here," and jumped out while he was in the wormhole. And he traveled in time. He says he ended up in the year 2300 and something and was there for a while. And then he ended up in the year 2800 and something and lived there for a while. Both times having no recollection of who he was at first and then eventually figuring it out and then somehow traveling back in time and ending up in 1983.
I see. And then when he was in, say, the year 2800, he lived there for a while?
Yeah, he was a tour guide.
He was a tour guide?
He was a tour guide because they had cities that were 22 or 2,300 stories tall. And they had anti-gravity technology, and they had computers that ran the government, and as he said, they were a socialist society. There's a lot of weird stuff in his stuff. Anybody who wants to listen to it, there's a bunch of his interviews online. I didn't listen to all of them, but it's about 3 hours of interviews. There's a couple of them that are kind of compiled. It's literally a 3-hour video that you can just listen to, and most of it's just audio. But I'm not going to say that he's a kook or a loon or anything like that, but he makes some pretty fantastic claims, and most of his stories are really, really simple. Like he says, well, then they had train systems, except their train cars were wider than ours. Okay, it's a train. Okay, well, what's so futuristic about a train? I mean, it's some weird stuff, very simple. I almost wonder if he, accidentally did LSD or something. It's just
accidentally.
It sounds like, the thing about it is like, and this is why he's full of it, is because he traveled to the future. And think about this. I mean, if somebody from, say, 200 years ago transported to our time, he would see things that would have been inconceivable in his time. Not just that, he wouldn't have just seen things that would have been an improvement. He wouldn't have seen a donkey on steroids and a super turbocharged steam locomotive. He would see things like airplanes and iPads and the internet. He would see stuff that his society could not have conceived of. Al Bielek, in all of his stories, not a single thing that he saw so many centuries in the future, not a single thing that he saw is something that doesn't already exist in our society today. Which tells us that either all human creativity basically disappeared about right about now, or that the guy is just basically full of it.
Well, and he also makes the jump that the human world population was kind of decimated at some point in the near future in some war, and
that seems like the sort of thing you would get some serious details on.
Well, and do you remember the Georgia Guidestones?
Yeah.
He talks about the New World Order and that in the year 2800, the planet was at, what was it, 500,000 or 500 million? 500 million people? They were keeping the population right around that number. So it's...
When did he do these interviews? I should just go watch them.
They're several years ago. It was really hard. I thought it was from 2000.
He's dead, though, right?
Yeah, he is.
2010, right? Or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. So his interview was... he was talking about the internet, and it was strange because I swore I heard the internet at one point they said 2012. But then he would start talking about the early 2000s, so I couldn't tell exactly when the interview I listened to was. But it just was very, very close to what modern technology was. And I agree with Joe. They weren't revelations. They weren't amazing, they had a sidewalk where you stood on it and just jetted you around town. like the thing at the airport.
And like the thing that Isaac Asimov was writing and had in some of his robot novels that he wrote in the 1960s.
Do you remember who is? I borrowed the Ringworld series from you.
Larry Niven.
Larry Niven. And if anybody hasn't read Ringworld or Larry Niven, they're good books. They're sci-fi.
Oh yeah, they're classics.
But they were written before a lot of technology came out. And so the technology that he forecasted was very simple advances. And that's what this guy was talking about, was things that were very simple advances, but they were 600 or 800 years in the future. So,
And also, if the world is only 500 million people, then why do you need cities that are like 2,400 stories tall?
Yeah, well, they had anti-gravity and they could just float all over the planet and live wherever they wanted in that city.
That's what it was.
So you know what? This week we're in Rio. Next week we're in the Antarctic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They have ships like that you can live on.
Yeah.
They do.
They do. So, okay, that sidebar, I guess.
Well, we've gone off. I think we bashed Al enough.
We have. So either this whole like fusion with Philadelphia project or aliens. I guess they're not mutually exclusive. They could have both happened. But aliens, apparently there was some contact with aliens that happened at the Montauk Project through this time tunnel, this stable time tunnel. There were some underground tunnels with abandoned cultural archives that were explored on Mars using the technique where apparently some kind of Martians had once lived thousands and thousands of years earlier. And there was contact made with the aliens through the time tunnel, I guess, that gave them some kind of advanced technologies to enhance the Montauk Project.
So, but they were able to actually do the initial time tunnel without alien technology.
I guess.
They stumbled upon it.
And then the time tunnel also opened into a space tunnel that also took us to Mars. I think it's one thing for me to make the leap of, hey, this time tunnel opened up and it opened up to some place that's like pretty close, just like, 40 years ago or whatever. It's another to say, hey, this time tunnel opened up and it opened up 5,000 years in the future on Mars. I don't know how those things work, but
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about it is like the universe is a huge place, and actually inhabitable places that exist are an infinitesimally small portion of the universe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if it goes up to a random place, it's probably just going to be empty space. Or the inside of a planet, or the inside of a star.
Yeah, those all seem like really dangerous things too, right? Every time you hear about a time tunnel opening up, it happens to be in a place that isn't the vacuum of space that sucks the entire world through this time tunnel into a black hole, right? I mean, that seems rather convenient to me.
Well, they did that on Stargate once.
That's true.
They had to frantically shut down the Stargate, but that happened on Stargate, which, by the way, I'm going to go back to Stargate every time you say time tunnel, because it sounds like it.
So they were just like channel surfing, and they came to this one that was like a black hole or something.
Yeah, they went to this planet, and it had the ring, and that planet was being sucked into a black hole, and the guys that went out there were all being spaghettification. Is that what it's called when you get sucked into a black hole because you're stretched out?
Let's go with that.
And time slows down, and so they were watching everybody slow down and being spaghettified. They had to quickly shut it down so the gravity didn't suck the world through the oh no. Yeah, through the gate.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just telling you right now.
No,
I'm going to do
fine.
that every time I can.
Apparently, this allowed a broader access to hyperspace, and also allowed a language of hyperspace to be developed. I just don't even.
Is that kind of like Esperanto?
I was about to say, what does that language sound like?
The language of hyperspace.
Or is that like a mathematical language?
It's unclear. I have to be honest. It may be a language of mathematics. I did not try to look it up. I gotta be honest with you.
I don't know that we could, actually.
So there's some other stuff that's really interesting, and this is kind of my bullet point list. The first interesting fact connected to the Montauk Project, other than the ones that we've already talked about, are that apparently Nikola Tesla faked his death in a conspiracy and was the chief director of operations at the Montauk Project, and was through the 80s, which would make him like 120
Something like that, yeah.
years old. So that seems really true.
Yeah.
well,
Well, I gotta say, but he was when he died. I think he was in his 80s, like his early 80s.
Uh-huh.
When he died, right? And he, I've seen pictures of him not long before his death, and he didn't look that hot. He didn't look so good.
No, he did not.
And reportedly, he was getting a little bit flaky in the head in his old age, as most of us do.
Yeah, especially when you play with electricity as much as he did.
Yeah. So I'm not sure he would have been much use to the project. At
However
age
happy
80.
I would be that Nikola Tesla was still alive today.
Oh yeah.
I would be so happy.
Well, haven't you watched Sanctuary? He's a vampire. He's totally alive. You've never seen that show? Oh, I'm totally going off on random TV shows
Never even
today,
heard
aren't
this.
I?
Never even heard of this show.
Nikola Tesla was a vampire.
I guess I'll go watch that then.
It's
I'm gonna
it's
just
pretty
binge
rad.
watch it tonight.
He's a super smart guy.
Yeah. Thomas Edison is another vampire. That'd be great.
No, Edison was a vampire. He was just a jerk.
Yeah. I heard he was kind of a jerk.
He really was.
Okay, next little tidbit of conspiracy. There are reports from the 1970s that surveillance showed, quote, the formation of a large bubble of time-space centered upon the site, unquote, which is apparently proof of the time tunnel. Apparently there was pictorial proof of that, which conveniently was burgled from the only person who had it, which seems like a normal thing for satellite surveillance.
Well, yeah, that guy was. I remember that guy. I can't remember his name now, but apparently
He was a reporter, right?
Yeah,
No, he was a Russian.
Yeah, he was a defector from Russia.
Oh, he
and
was
apparently
interviewed
he
by
had
a reporter.
access-
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had access to satellite surveillance
And
technology.
he was like Russian and South American. He was some weird
Yeah,
combination.
Spanish-Russian or something like
Spanish-Russian,
that,
something
yeah.
like that. And as soon as he spilled the beans, then they broke into his
burgled
apartment
his
and
hotel room.
only stole the papers.
Yeah, I know. No, they could have like messed the place up and stole his TV too, just to cover up.
Yeah, but no,
well,
just the
I
papers.
seriously would like to know from.
Why would
any
you steal the
vantage point.
TV? You know how heavy a 1970s TV
That's a good
is?
point. Well,
True.
they were only about this big. So, but anyway, I really want to know what a bubble of space-time looks like.
I would like to know that too.
Because, how does it look any different from the space-time
Yeah.
that we exist in right now?
I don't know. Maybe it bows out.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe
It's like a
everything
soap
looks
bubble.
super spaghettified.
Cool refractions? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That I can't answer. I have not seen that on TV yet.
Yeah. Apparently, also at the Montauk Project, people had their psychic abilities enhanced already. Amazing theory. That allowed them to materialize objects out of thin air.
yeah. Well,
They could just think a thing into existence.
Yeah, I guess they couldn't all do that, but some of them were so incredibly advanced and powerful that they could actually and one of them like materialize a Bigfoot out of thin air.
A
The
Yeti.
Yeti.
And it went
yeah.
berserker
Yeah.
and started it destroyed like 3 levels, and they had to be,
They had to shoot it.
yeah.
Did you hear the theory of why the Yeti was created?
No.
Or was brought in?
No.
Oh, this is way down the rabbit hole.
Gold? It's gold?
It's absolute
It's
gold.
Nazi gold?
I can't remember the name of the guy that supposedly had his psychic abilities enhanced, and of course, by having those abilities enhanced, he had other issues like emotional issues created. But he and some other people at that time, I think it was in the 80s, they said, because it shut down in 83, is that right? Said that they realized that the project had gotten out of control. And so what they did is to shut it down. When he was in, they had a mind chair where it was an alien chair that
Like
would
Professor
That
X.
enhanced
Okay.
your powers. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, which is also a Stargate phenomena. He sat in it and he thought of the worst monster he could, and he thought of a 7-foot Yeti, which went through and rampaged through the complex and ripped the place asunder, doing so much damage that the project had to be shut down, and they saved our timeline.
I
Nice.
I was kind of hoping that you were going to tell me it's like from Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah,
With
the marshmallow.
with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, where they were like, "Okay, think of anything you want," and he's like, "Don't think of a Yeti. Don't think of a Yeti. Don't think of a Yeti. Ah, crap! I thought of a Yeti." That was my hope.
No.
Apparently, also at the Montauk Project, they put microchips, embedded them in the workers' brains to control the people who worked there.
Yeah, okay.
Or to make them forget that they worked there, or
Totally makes sense.
whatever. Also, apparently, the Montauk Project is where they train the Men in Black
Or they
to
trained it
quote.
before it shut down.
Yeah.
Well,
to
maybe it's
quote,
still open.
it
Who
might
knows?
be. So
Yeah.
that's another part of it, right? They apparently, the Men in Black were developed to quote confuse and frighten the public. Also, the Montauk Project, where they staged the moon landing, or possibly they tunneled to the future with their time tunnel to get technology from the aliens, or they tunneled to a time when people could go to the moon and just did it then.
Wait a minute. Wait. I have seen most of these things
Uh-huh.
here, but you're telling me that the Montauk Project is responsible for either A, making the moon landing, or B,
Faking it.
faking it?
Yeah.
Both of those possibilities?
One or
Yeah.
the other, I guess.
Yeah, that potentially they faked it there, right? They staged it there. Or this time tunnel existed and they got the alien technology that enabled them to actually go to the moon.
But you know that.
But either way, it wasn't just like United States ingenuity
Yeah.
that let us go to the
Yeah,
moon.
the thing about it is there's no evidence of any alien technology in the Apollo program. I mean, it's
Are you
like,
kidding me? Velcro.
Oh, good point. Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. Okay, yeah, you win. But
Okay.
seriously, there's no need for alien technology there. But I like the Civil War one.
Yeah. Apparently, also, one of the things they did with this time tunnel was they went back because apparently the first time we did the Civil War, it went the wrong way, so they fixed the outcome of the Civil War.
So the South won. The world was so terrible that the Confederate, is that the South?
Confederacy.
The Confederacy's version realized it was terrible, made their own Montauk Project to send people back to make sure the Confederacy lost the second time around?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe it was people who were, like still fighting for the North. Who, I mean, not still, but there are people who still think that the Confederacy should have won, right? In 2014.
Yeah.
So maybe it was the obviously the smarter people.
I was going to say, because most of the people who think that, they
Are
fly the
dumb.
flag, they drive the truck, they drink the beer,
Mhm.
and once a year they go to the reenactment.
Right.
They don't build quantum machines in their
Right.
garage
I
that
have
I
a
know
lot
of.
of choice derogatory things to say.
Yeah, and that's
about
why
that.
I'm avoiding
But
it.
you're getting it wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be the Southerners if the South had won the war.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is that the Northerners would have said, "Wow, this turned out bad. Let's create a lot of really advanced technology and
And
go
go
back
back.
and fix it
But the thing about
instead
that
of flying
is-
the flag and going to the reenactment once a year."
But the thing about it is like, if the U.S. had split, there's a couple of different outcomes. One is that things might have turned out better or just perfectly okay. The South would go do their thing, we'd do our thing.
Mhm.
And so, it wouldn't be seen. We see it from this perspective of us now as the South winning as being a hideous thing. But maybe as far as the North goes, people living in the North, it would have been okay. And so
The only thing is
incentives-
slavery. Let's throw that out there.
Well, slavery was going to go the way of the dodo. Industrialization did away with slavery anyway. I mean, it would have gone. But
He's got a point.
That's true.
Yeah, slavery would no longer be existing in the 20th century. On the other hand, the United States, if it were split up, might not have ever become a real world power and might not have even participated in World War II.
Yep.
So I don't know.
It's a big question.
No one knows what all these unknowable, noble things are.
It's true. So more things that happened at the Montauk Project.
Oh, yeah. This one's
The
interesting.
Jersey Devil was created there.
Now,
we
what
haven't
is
tackled the Jersey Devil
what is the
yet.
Jersey Devil?
What is the Jersey Devil is the good question.
Yeah.
And that's, stay
That's totally the
tuned.
question. What is the
Next
Jersey
week-
Devil?
No, the Jersey Devil is a cryptozoology creature.
Mm, like a chimera kind of thing.
Well, no, it could be a Bigfoot. It could be something like the Tasmanian Devil.
It could
of
be
New
a
Jersey.
chupacabra.
Could be a
Oh.
chupacabra. It could be a lot of things.
Hmm. Could be a Batman guy.
It could be the situation.
This is the thing. Again, I'm sure we'll do a show on this.
Yeah, we probably will.
Also, apparently, AIDS was manufactured here because that's a thing.
Yeah.
Steve is looking at me like I am the person who believes this theory.
Yeah, I know. But the whole idea that
I just don't even know what to say.
The whole idea that AIDS was manufactured, when if you really want a new hideous disease to come along, all you got to do is just sort of sit back, drink a beer, and wait for sub-Saharan Africa to crank a new one out. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, look at, say, for example, Ebola.
Yeah, but the problem, right? Okay, so the thing, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm about to do this, but the thing is that like Ebola, you could catch as a rich person just as easily as you could catch as like as a poor person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an airborne illness, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever. It's communicable in other ways other than like physically having
It's in the air.
contact. Yeah.
It's airborne, yes.
Right. So the benefit of AIDS, right, ostensibly, if you were going to manufacture something, is that you would just say, I will only have contact with people I 100% know do not have this, and then I will never get it.
Oh.
So I guess
Unless you get a blood transfusion or something like that. But
they clean that stuff out
they clean
now.
that up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Now.
Now.
Not then, because
At
there
the
might be some
beginning.
riffraff. You might want to just let it leak. No, I'm going to let that go.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. Anyways, just as a so I guess that's my like last big one. The whole thing is still standing. That's my last theory of things that happened there.
Is the AIDS thing?
Is the AIDS thing.
Oh, I thought it was your which was my favorite phrase of this is how we're just going to let that go.
We're just going.
Yes, we're just going to let that
So the whole thing, the radar and the building that it's on top of, and ostensibly the 50-foot titanium pyramid below are still there.
Yeah. And the soldiers with the guns threatening
So
people.
that's exactly the segue, right? Is that apparently this base is abandoned. It's just part of the state park in New York. But ostensibly, people say that civilians visiting the park are routinely threatened by armed government agents that are ordering them to not venture into certain areas of the park. Apparently, electrical installed a power station capable of using gigawatts of energy, like enough to power a city. And apparently, every once in a while, strange lights or shapes are seen on the sky overhead.
I see those anywhere.
Well, and here's something that's weird. I wanted to kind of get an idea of what the place looked like today, so I went on Google Maps and checked it out, and I was looking at the street map, no big deal, and then I wanted to try and figure out where the satellite was, or the radar dish, so I turned it on to satellite view, and then thought, well, I'm gonna pull a Joe, and I'm just gonna cruise around the streets and check everything
Street
out.
View, yeah.
Oh.
Except you can't.
Because every time you come around the corner, there's a couple of guys with AR-15s telling Mr. Google car to stop. And they're pointing the guns
No.
out.
You know how when you're in Google Maps today and you go and what do they call the little guy that you drop on the map?
Yeah, the little gold guy.
Yeah, whatever he is, he's got a name. I can't think of it. Whenever you get the map to come up to show where he'll go, all the roads around Camp Hero, they all stop on the street view at a pretty significant distance away from the main center of the installation.
Is it the border of the state park? Like, is it not able to go into the state park at all?
Well, you go down a road, because I did. I went to a number of them. You go down the road, and then there's a gate, and there's a giant sign, which you can't read because of Google has fuzzed it out.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
But there's a gate, and then I mean there's a number of smaller roads that look like they feed in off of the edges, and I went over to those, and every one of them it's the same thing. The Google truck stopped. It seems like these gates, if it's a park, would be open to drive down at some point, but Google never managed to get in there, and every time they fuzz out everything that is on there. You know how when you're in the street view, it does the little window where you can zoom in on stuff? Like, let's say you're looking at a house and you want to zoom on the house. When you look at that entire area, that little zoom window is gone in the street view. It's not till you do a 180 and you're looking away that it comes back. So it's a little weird that you can't even zoom into any of it, which would add a little credence to this theory of, well, maybe something's still going on.
Yeah,
but the thing about it is if they still got stuff going on, then why go to the hassle of having, like guys sneaking around the woods with guns when you can just keep it in your own possession, not turn it over to the public, not have the public walking around. Still have your fences and armed guards saying, "Hey, military base, you can't come in," and there's nothing suspicious about that. There's
But you
military
have to
bases
keep.
everywhere.
You've got to do some kind of upkeep, and if you give it to the state
There you
and
go.
say the state, this is your park, you've got to maintain it. But by the way, keep your little cretins out of this area, and we'll just have a little contingent walking around patrolling it to keep people away because people get on foot and they wander around. They have no idea, so they're scurrying on. They're making sure everybody scurries away from it.
I guess my other thing for the keeping it a base would be exactly what you were saying earlier with the populated area thing, where I think, when they initially made Camp Hero, Long Island was not nearly as populated as it is now. So keeping something secret and operational as a publicized Air Force base is much harder. It'd be like trying to do something on the Air Force base, or I guess it's the Air Force Reserve or whatever, that's, down by the Portland airport. But you drive right past it, and it's kind of a secluded area. But if there was weird stuff going on, people would know, just because people kind of live around. So I guess there's some kind of, I see both arguments.
I still think if you're that paranoid about secrecy, just move out to the desert somewhere out west.
But that's the problem, is that there's all kinds of installations that were out in the middle of nowhere, were built up. You know about the here in Portland, out on the east side, there's in Beaverton, or west side in Beaverton, there's the monkey farm. You know about the monkey farm.
Yeah.
There's
the what?
The monkey farm. There's this place that is a primate facility. And it is in the middle of Beaverton, which folks who aren't from here don't know is a very populated, very urbanized area. And there's a lot of people driving around and living in that area. And I worked on a campus that was directly next to it. I mean, property lines intersected, and I'd be in the parking lot and you could hear the monkeys.
Was it the OHSU facility?
I don't think it is. It might be. But the point is, they built that thing a long time ago and kept adding on to it. So they sunk a lot of money into infrastructure to build this facility, and they let's just say they're doing nefarious things, because we would hear monkeys yelling all the time.
Well...
And then they're doing strange things there. Well, you can't just pick that all up and move, because that's really expensive.
Yeah.
So instead, you just say it's one thing while you do another.
Yeah,
you can do that, but at the time they started this facility, I mean, New York and like just north of there is Connecticut, another very populous place. It was already very, very densely populated. Back in the 40s or the 70s or whenever they started this.
Sure.
So, I mean, they didn't have to invest a dime in it. They could have just gone somewhere else.
But it was also, I remember in reading, they went there because it was right on the coast. So it was easy to bring everything in by boat, load it up, and haul it however far, a couple of miles at the most, onto
Not
the
even
camp.
that far. No.
And so it's easy. It's
via
easy.
secret submarine.
Your secret submarine base.
Submarine base, because frankly, I've looked that end of the island over fairly carefully, and I saw nothing resembling wharves or docks or anything like that. So, yeah, it's going to have to be the secret submarine base.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
So that's the story of
No. This is one we're actually going to have to postpone solving this one. I'm sure we have at least several listeners in New York. And so what would
Do not suggest something that is going to get people arrested, Joe.
Please.
It won't get them arrested.
Please.
Well, if this is all true, it's not going to get them arrested. It's going to get them shot. So get your asses out there. If you can, if you rent like one of those little Kubota things, those diggers, and like those little earth mover things, and just do some digging out there.
You know what is actually a really huge fine?
Yeah.
Digging up state parks.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty illegal.
Okay.
Even just digging in a state park. I mean, it's one thing if there is a secret base there. It's even if there's not, it's a pretty hefty fine.
I would rather have a crew of LARPers dress up as SG-1 crew and go running through the park and see if they can blend in and get into the site than have them start digging up so that if they can see, they can find the first level of the underground base.
I just want to see what the signs say. the Google
Yeah.
signs that are blurred out. I have a feeling it's nothing nefarious. I'm
I
sure
think it's
just
probably
like,
innocuous.
Hey, you
probably
can't
says-
drive past here. Like, no
Probably
vehicular traffic past this point.
It's a huge sign with it looks like a lot of text on it.
It probably
though.
says state park, and here's all our many, many rules, and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's probably a giant rule
what
list.
is- all of our state parks are like that. There's all kinds of sign and tons of rules and all
I
kinds
just
of
wanna
warnings
know.
and everything else.
So, what's your favorite thing that might have or may not have happened at the Montauk?
The favorite theory,
project.
or what?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not willing to call these theories necessarily, just like
Suppositions?
things that might have happened there. What's your favorite thing that might have happened there?
I really do like the guys that could make things materialize, and the guy makes the Yeti pop out of nowhere, and he tears the place apart.
Pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Steve?
Okay, are we going for favorite for fun or favorite for believable?
Well, let's do favorite for fun. Why not? We
Okay.
very rarely do favorite for fun.
For favorite for fun,
I'm sorry. Joe may need to append his.
it's okay. I kind of like the theory that Al and his buddy Mr. Cameron had, where they were lost in time, because it makes me think. There's been a number of movies of military men from the 40s who go into the freezer cooler and wake up in the 80s.
Oh,
and,
you mean Captain America?
yeah, stuff like that. And he's saying that. I think it's Al was saying that he had no recollection of ever working at the Montauk Project, and then people who knew the project. I might be misremembering the person. It might not be Al.
I can't remember either. There was
Somebody who said
else.
it was somebody who
else.
said they had no memory of working at Montauk, and then people who worked there were like, "Hey, totally recognize you." No, I don't know you, until to the point that he got really upset, and then suddenly the memories started coming back.
That was the guy who said there were microchips in his brain.
Is that who said that?
I don't remember his name, but yeah.
Oh, see, I couldn't remember if it was him or the guy who could make things materialize.
I think
with
it
his
was
mind.
microchip, dude. That might even be the same person. For all
Because
I can remember, I gotta be honest.
Then you're living a double life. It's pretty awesome.
On accident,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of a Neo situation.
That would
the red pill or the blue pill.
or both. You know,
We just took them both.
Why
So
not?
we're just gonna mix them. See what happens.
just have fun.
Wouldn't that be a weird way for the movies to go? The Matrix. If he was like, I'll just take them both.
I'll wake up inside the Matrix, but forget everything I ever knew.
What about the? So which pill was it? The red pill where he goes down the rabbit hole?
Yes.
So yeah, what if he'd taken the blue pill? Dum, dum, dum. There's the end of the roll.
Rolls credits. Yeah.
No, the next hour and a half is him in his office, just working.
Just coding.
Or no, it's like he's going about his business, and he keeps running into what's his name?
Morpheus.
Yeah, he keeps running into Morpheus, and Morpheus says, "Are you sure you don't want to take the red pill?" And
Dude,
it's like,
why are you always trying to give me drugs?
He's
Are
at
you
the
trying to get me
Starbucks.
fired? I gotta take a pee test tomorrow.
No, he's at the Starbucks, and suddenly Morpheus sits down, and he's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, you again?" That's a movie that needs to be made.
I think this is awesome.
I was just gonna say that my favorite theory is Nikola Tesla, but I guess the
That's
Matrix
pretty
is
cool.
more interesting.
No, I like Tesla. but
I like
he's a
that
vampire.
Tesla was the director of operations there.
Yeah, Tesla pops up in a lot of stuff.
I like the director. Yeah, the director of operations. Like that's a very specific. Like they weren't like, hey, he was in charge of the place. They're like, this was his job title. It was director of operations, not chief of operations, not COO, right? Not like CEO, not like commander in operations or
Not
whatever
sergeant
you
at
call,
arms.
yeah, whatever you would do in the military. No, he was the director of operations.
It's a very specific title.
It is,
be
which
director
makes
of
me
research.
nope. Operations, which apparently facilities probably replies to, right? Or
Yeah.
reports to.
Head
But
park ranger.
I guess, director of operations, that leads some credence, right?
No, that makes the story totally credible.
Super plausible.
I gotta be honest. Okay, I like the story. It's a lot of fun. Can I now say what my big problem with this project?
I guess.
It is. I think Joe, you might have mentioned this earlier. Is this story is a prime candidate for people to just chew on.
And
I think that
stuff,
this is the hard part. Is like I kept reading it, trying to find, okay, where's some credible stuff? What can I try and track down that's really real instead of these fun anecdotal things?
So
it's like watching, it's cracks in glass. It just keeps spreading, and you don't know where it's going.
It's confusing, and I think for a lot of these stories, you don't know if it's somebody. And maybe I've said this before. In fact, I'm sure I have. If there's not people out there, people with an impish sense of humor on the internet who copy all this stuff over and then tack on a few things like, oh, let's have somebody materialize stuff out of thin air, using just power of his mind. And then that gets copied over by other people,
and there's a bunch of books that have been written on this place. I tried to track them down in my library, but unfortunately they don't stock them. Surprisingly, but I was really disappointed because I wanted to try and read some of this stuff to see what sources. Because Al, when I was listening to him, his sources were a friend in the government. A friend that I know, a friend in the military,
guy driving a taxi,
which is just not a credible source.
Not really,
and it's really difficult to get a good handle on it.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I attacked this story the way that I did,
which is probably the best way to do it.
With this whole, there's this one kind of anecdotal thing that you can't. I mean, there's no hard evidence for.
There's no hard evidence for any
of it. But at least there's some stories from, it seems, different points of view, and whether that's just like different people writing it or whatever, it seems that like at least people are lying to substantiate the evidence or the anecdotal evidence versus like one dude says, oh yeah, AIDS was there, right? One dude says, oh, by the way, Men in Black trained there. I think that, so I wanted to kind of focus on this stuff that actually has at least a little substance to it, even if it's not good science or good evidence.
I don't think any of this stuff has any substance.
I think that there has got to be truth in some of this. I'm not saying what it is. So let's say the people who got chased off by